Hmm. Okay, let me see. I think it's better now. I had a little bit of an internet issue at the time. Okay. I think I'm good to go. So again, apparently Trump had spoken and said, you know what? I have a serious concern about what's happening in Nigeria. And that was when he did a tweet saying that he was gonna come in and try to rescue the Christians, okay, because the Christian genocide was happening. At the time, this was the guy, and I need to just take him off my screen. This was
A leading Muslim cleric has urged Nigeria to cut ties
okay.
with the United States over President Donald Trump's threat of military action. At the weekend, Trump warned of possible military action with guns.
Hi, Chris. Welcome to the show. I'm having some internet issues right now. I'm just trying to kind of figure out what's happening, and let's see how it goes. If the problem continues, we might just kind of find an alternative, or just possibly just do the show when things get sorted. But it's a little bit kind of awkward right now. Let me see if I can. Okay, let me just see if. Okay, so again, this is the brief video of this guy reacting, to the bombing, to the airstrike that Trump had.
Christians in Sokoto State. So we see an irony, whereby where the real issue is, Sokoto became the first target of their attack. Looking at the symbolic nature of the attack coming on a Christmas day in the seat of the caliphate, and also pronouncement from Americans that what they are really after, what the term terror is the Sharia law which Nigerians apply, and they think our caliphate, Sokoto Caliphate, they simulate as if it is a terrorist organization to it, which is there probably before even the Americans knew what they called the Muslims. In fact, there was never any incident of persecution of Christians in Sokoto State.
Okay, there's never been incidents of persecution of Christians in Sokoto, and Sokoto was bombed. Okay. Number one, I think that these guys don't really understand, what was happening, because I did just ask some questions with respect to that, because when I also had Sokoto, I was like, what's really happening in Sokoto? I know Sokoto is the seat of, the caliphate and all that, but I was asking that question, why Sokoto, why was it bombed?
Their churches, and we wouldn't like another foreigner to come to say they will turn Nigeria into a theater of war, whereby Nigeria will become the field where they fight each other. It has shown that Nigeria is very weak. It's at the weakest point in life of Nigeria, whereby foreign force will come and bully Nigerians into accepting this kind of indignation. This is what it exposes, but what I think Nigerians are up to the task. Nigerians will stand.
Up to now, we have not seen the footage of the terrorists killed. We have not seen that. We have not seen that. Unless we see the footage of those killed, then we'll be comfortable. Then we'll begin to support this airstrike. But as it is now, no.
Okay. Okay, so again, that's Gumi and one other person speaking, and I really update on of the bombing of Sokoto. Why Sokoto? Any notable bandits or terrorists dead? On December 25, the United States conducted airstrikes targeting Islamic State affiliated militant camp in northwest Nigeria, Sokoto State, specifically in the Tangaza local government area near the border with Niger Republic, according to New York Times. Okay, now the operation, which lasted about 45 minutes, starting late at night, involved over a dozen. What am I don't know. I guess it's this possibly just this few days that I'm doing I guess it's the Christmas stuff that everything just get popped up. I need to hit the gym as 2026 will come, right? And then it's gonna be my year of slimming down. Okay, so again, I'm looking at the Sokoto State issue and looking at what's happening with respect to the bombing. Still trying to gather like one or two, like we just want to come here, read and actually react to what's been happening. The operation lasted about 45 minutes. So we saw the pictures from the United States of I'll say Department of War, from the state secretary. And again, one of the things that, I'm still asking is there any connection between Sokoto and, all these other points where you have this terrorist operates? Is it possible that you're having some of this major up, outside of the real area where you have this terrorism, happening? Nigerians should not allow religion to divide them. Before the Europeans came, we lived in harmony. Tinubu, you have failed Nigeria. I believe that's what you want to say. We should pray for Nigeria. Yeah. Again, yeah, we should really pray for the country. But let's see what's happening here. So the operation, which lasted 45 minutes, started late at night, involved over a dozen Tomahawk cruise missile launched from a U.S. Navy ship in the Gulf of Guinea. It was carried out in coordination with the Nigerian government and military. We saw, the Foreign Affairs Ministry come out to say, okay, fine, we're working with the United States, in this coordinated, whatever, I will call it sweep or coordinated airstrike. Okay. And that's it. Now, we don't know for sure to what extent the Nigerian military or the Nigerian intelligence forces are actually working with the United States. But again, they've come out to say, what, this strike that happened was in coordination with us, and then we're good. So again, I'll just take it at that. There might be a lot of questions unanswered. It was carried out in coordination with the Nigerian government and military based on Nigerian intelligence and described as part of the ongoing joint effort to combat terrorism. Donald Trump announced the strike. I think he announced after, okay, and called it powerful and deadly action against ISIS terrorist scum in the region, emphasizing protection against attacks on Christians. No civilian casualties were reported, though the blast caused significant panic among nearby villagers, with report of intense heat, a glowing red sky, and home shaking, which is expected when you have that. Sokoto is the headquarters of the bandit, according to Chris, and terrorists. Remember, that is where their caliphate is. They have their logistics center. So let me get this straight. If Sokoto, right, is the caliphate, right, that's where you have the caliphate. If that's where these guys are operating, then there's a serious problem. There's a serious problem, because that means we're actually not fighting anything. Another thing is this, one of the questions that was asked is this: if truly we actually have the intelligence, we know where all these people operate, how come we've not actually gone in to take them out? I mean, that was one of the questions I was asked. How come we've not gone in to take out, these terrorists, all these evil guys? So if they're operating where you have the caliphate, the seat of power, according to the Islamic structure and all that, then we might be in for a serious problem. We might be in for a serious problem. Sorry about that. Yeah. So that being said, let's just go on. As of December 27, the U.S. has warned of potential additional strikes, while Nigerian foreign minister confirmed the collaborative nature of the operations and ongoing discussion with the U.S. officials. So we might be expecting more. We don't have the weapons. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we may not have the weapon to get some precision strike. But at the end of the day, I also don't expect the United States to commit its troops on the ground. So what happens after the strike might have been taken and after the strike might have been over? All these, okay, it's well. Sokoto was targeted due to his role as a hub for jihadist activity in Nigeria's northwest, where dense forests and rocky hills serve as a basis for groups like Lakurawa, I don't even know this one, locally known militants affiliated with Jamanatu Nusrat al-Islam wal Muslimin, or JNIM, or the Al-Qaeda branch, though sometimes linked to the ISIS tactics. Okay, and then let's go on. Intelligence indicated, okay, let's see. The area is a key transit point for fighters entering from Niger Republic and has seen rising violence, with 353 incidents reported in Sokoto in 2025 alone. Wow. Ranking in the fourth highest in Nigeria. Intelligence indicated, all funded by America's, all Muslims out of America. I think I'm having some American, I would say American first listeners in the group chatting. Intelligence indicated a meeting of top, Lakurawa leaders and affiliates planning coordinated attacks across states, making it a strategic choice over other regions like the Northwest, where Boko Haram or ISWAP is more dominant. While Trump highlighted anti-Christian violence, Nigerian officials noted that this group targeted both Christians and Muslims indiscriminately, okay? And Sokoto's selection baffled some locals due to its relatively low profile for such extremism compared to areas like Borno. The strike followed a recent mosque. Okay, we knew there was a mosque bombing in Maiduguri, which was attributed to Boko Haram, and that also, did increase some tension. And then that was another thing. Was that bomb that went off in Maiduguri a diversion tactics? Okay, was that a diversion tactics? Because I guess possibly they might actually think that, let's have some bomb activities a few days before the so-called stuff. Okay, they need to put troop boots on the ground in order for their foreign direct investment to flourish. Can't have areas infected by terrorist organization detrimental to corporations that want to invest. It's not that complicated. Yeah, but then I'm just wondering, with respect to investment, I wouldn't know if I know the United States might actually be interested in the minerals and all of those, but I'm not so sure if the United States will be committed to putting real boots on the ground. I still don't see any major reason why they would actually want to move troops on the ground. I think what they're going to do at the end of the day is just to have, all those major strategic strikes. That's it. Where am I from? I grew up in Nigeria, but I'm currently not in Nigeria. I'm in Canada. You have no sovereignty. Well, again, if the presidency had come to say, this is what it is, we actually worked with them, then that's it. Okay, they want the oil. I'm not so sure that they're really interested in our oil. I think they're more interested in the minerals. Yeah. In the minerals. I think that's what actually most of these countries are fighting for right now. Is it because Sokoto Caliphate is so revered by Muslims and Christians in Nigeria? It's just like Christians having their logistics centers in the Vatican normally to provide a cover to extra. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And also, given that from what I've read now, that it's more like a transit point where you have all these attacks being planned and all that. There's been 353 incidents in Sokoto. So possibly that might also be, there's a bigger agenda. They don't care about Nigeria or Nigerians. Yeah. So again, I think it's a two-way thing. I think that there may be some other, there may be some other stuffs, there may be some other things that they're interested in, but at the same time, just coming from, different lobbies group and all that, I think there are a lot of Christians in the United States actually lobbying for, for all of those killings and all those terrorist acts. So it might be a two-way thing. Yeah, but that's that about that. Let me see this. So again, going on, the U.S. African Command assessment indicates multiple ISIS-affiliated terrorists were killed. Okay, I'm seeing also the possibility of one of these guys. I think his name is Torji. That it's possible that guy might have also been killed, but I don't know. Okay, that's not been confirmed, but I've been seeing news about that all around. They may use special forces, but not conventional forces. So yeah, maybe like machineries and the likes. I guess that's it. I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna see what happens. As an European, what do you think about immigration to Europe? I think it's a two-way thing. I think currently right now, I think there's been a lot of outcry against unmitigated immigration. To Europe, we're seeing a lot of posture towards, putting a control on the number of people that comes into a lot of these countries. We can see the United States also having that stand, and I think also UK is also kind of moving towards that. So I think there's been a period where it was more like, a lot of, the European countries opened their borders for a lot of refugees and the likes. And I'm not so sure if the posture is actually still that. So that's it. But we'll see what happens. They won't send boots on the ground though, even though they should. They're not going to send troops. I think right now Trump has been much more interested in getting most of this troop, out of conflict areas and the likes. But we'll see what happens. American doesn't care about Christianity in reality. Well, it all depends. It all depends. I think Trump I think the evangelicals are one of the strong bases of Trump. And as a result of that, I believe that those people still have a major sway. And I think one of the reasons why I think this got to Trump attention was also because of the heightened, what's it called again? Heightened virality that the Christian body gave that clip. So that's that about that. We'll see what happens. Going forward, we'll watch and see what really happens post the strike. Is there going to be more like a counter reaction to that? I don't know. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's that about that. With respect to to the update, while the strike happened, and we're still waiting for more information, and then we'll see what happens. Deception is their second name. They come begging in and then becomes wolves later. One of the things that we're actually facing right now, with the advent of how will I call it? With the advent of this October 7 and then the war between Israel and Gaza, I think there's been a lot of infiltration into all these Western countries. Like even today, there's some big malls in Canada where you had all this Palestinian crowd, all this free Palestinian crowd. They just went in to disrupt the whole, atmosphere. The Boxing Day, the Christmas ceremony thing was just fraught with a lot of all this. And that says a lot, with respect to what's happening in the world and the various people having various agendas. We'll just see what happens. They said this attack could be to cover up the newly released Epstein file. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Trump will be fine at the end of the day. The good thing is that possibly for some people it provides some level of closure, for them after a long while. But one of the things I also learned with respect to the Epstein file was that a lot of the victims were not even carried along. They just saw the file the same way every other person saw the file. But we'll see what happens. I also saw in news that there is 1 million more files that was just discovered in the southern district of New York. We're gonna see what happens with that. US wants to tell the Sultan that American eyes are on him. He is not exempted from what is happening. If the attack on Christian escalates, then the Sultanate may be targeted again. But at this point, I actually want to also, I understand the fact that, the Christian community in Nigeria, they've suffered, disproportionately, especially areas where they are located. So areas where the Christians are located, they are always the primary target. Areas where it's predominantly Muslims, okay, then it becomes, a little bit of nuance, because then when they go to bomb mosques, there are no Christians in mosques, you understand, and that's it. So again, that being said, I'll just leave it to that. Do you feel welcome in Canada? I mean, I don't have any issues with that, but I do agree that, when Trump wants to eat all these terrorists and all that, it doesn't just try to play, at the level at which the other people play. So, for example, there's a terrorist activity in a place, and then Trump is going ahead to eat that base. It doesn't do that. It goes to where the real powerful people are. For example, this guy, is it Soleimani of Iran? The guy made a big mistake. He went out of Iran, went out of his base rather. And you know what? And once that information got to Trump, they were tracking him, he took that guy out. So Trump has a way, when he tries to fight terrorism, he doesn't fight all those boys that go to the field to carry guns and shoot people. He goes to the source. He goes to the source and tells their leader that if you do any more killings, then I'm going to come for you. At times, he's done that to even the Talibans. We just show them, this is a picture of your family house. This is a picture of your house. This is a picture of your wives and all that. If any American troop gets killed, I'm going to come for you. And that's the way it should be. Is Nigeria becoming de-Christianized and more Islamized like Europe? No, I don't think so. I think the truth is this, that the Christian population in Nigeria is growing and is also strong. That being said, what's been happening with a lot of all those areas that is being impacted by the terrorism is that you now see Christians moving out. So, for example, there was like a few weeks ago, I played a video here with respect to terrorism activities, banditry activities in Kwara State. And what has actually resulted, is that you have a lot of Christians moving out from there, and then moving to the city or moving to other part of the country. And that's what's really happening. So again, I'm just gonna leave it at that, and hopefully we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's see. Next, I just want to move on to stuff that are happening locally in Nigeria with respect to 2026. January 1st is, I believe, the day that the new tax law has been is expected to go into effect. But there's been a lot of back and forth with respect to that. We'll see what happens with respect to the new tax law. That being said, I just want to also touch on what happened with respect to, I think it was Wike and Fubara, and then I'll also react to the interview that Fayose had. But let me see if I can actually get the full Fayose clip, and then we'll talk about that. Oh, Fayose. Okay, so Fayose bombs Governor Makinde, exposes why he's angry with Tinubu and Wike. So let me see if I can actually listen to this. It's a long one, but I might just skip and just focus on where we have
a
real
welcoming
issue.
Development beyond a Christian and a Muslim dichotomy that was painted. Today, I saw residents who gladly said there were no casualties, but the actions of the American government impacted more on the ISIS. This is a welcome development. Anything that can take you to that junction of being secured. We've been in this for too long. And I want to say here that it's a welcome development for us to be at peace. If they can take out these elements, the country will be at
All right.
peace.
But there
Yeah, it's a welcome development. It's also a kind of a shame that we had to wait for the United States to actually intervene and wading into this whole menace for us to be able to even get ourselves together. That's a big problem.
are concerns that this may likely threaten our sovereignty as a nation. Are these concerns valid?
Those are all sentiments. You know, Nigeria, when there are issues, they will go into sentiments rather than the real issues. So for me, nobody has come. There's no way Americans will know you are a Muslim or you are a Christian. There's no way. So it's not targeted at Muslim communities or Christian communities.
Okay.
It was targeted at the enemies of Nigeria.
Why didn't the Nigerian army act against those terrorists before? That's a very good question. I think the fact is that there's been a lot of, number one, there's an issue with weaponry. Secondly, also, I would say possibly intelligence. Third, again, there's also reports that a lot of these people have infiltrated the whole military system. That's an allegation, that's been alleged. But again, the political will is not there. I feel that the Tinubu administration actually played a dangerous game with this. And that's just it. Also, a lot of there were news that also had some of these terrorists reintegrated into the military. Some of them were pardoned. There's been a lot of different, I would say, how will I call it now? There's been a lot of different school of thought with respect to how this will be handled. Some are like, you need to negotiate, which that doesn't even make sense to even start with. So there's been a lot of complicity when it comes to the Nigerian government. And the result of that is much more devastating because these people are not reducing in number. They're growing in number. I'm talking about the terrorists now.
Encroaching on our borders, taking over our country. So it is welcoming. It is a good development. And I want to say to you, no nation, not even President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will want to compromise this nation for Christians, whereas he is a Muslim, and cannot equally compromise for Muslims, whereas he's a Muslim. So what is important is to eliminate these elements for the good of Nigeria.
All right, before we move on to local politics, finally, what do you say to the Bola Tinubu administration about taking charge internally? Yes, foreign support is important, it's needed at this point, but what do you say to this administration about taking charge and ending this crisis internally?
May I say to you, it is not an easy thing to govern this country. This country is founded on too many sentiments. I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'm from the north, I'm from the south, I'm from the east. No Nigerian president or any in our history has achieved putting this country on the right path in terms of sentiments. What I expect of a president is to continue to do his best. The president didn't shy away that. The government did not shy away from the fact that
for Chief of Army Staff visiting Sultan of Sokoto, who is a terrorist, shows that the Tinubu administration is working with this terrorist. Again, I don't think the Tinubu administration is working, directly with them in terms of, now I'm just talking in terms of Tinubu as a president, but I also understand that there is actually the possibility that you have some people that are sympathetic to all these terrorists, that are also in the administration of Tinubu. And that's what I think. Yeah.
The actions of the American government to hit on the ISIS were not known to them. They confirmed the fact that as long as this is hitting on the enemies of Nigeria, whether you're a Muslim or you're a Christian, you must welcome anything that can take out the Boko Harams of the...
Again, I don't even understand the whole talk, right? Yeah, I don't even think it makes sense for someone to even kind of start to excuse why these terrorists should be bombed in the first place. You've come again, political will is not there. Please define political will. You guys just use phrases without thinking because others use them. Yeah, is it your submission, is it your submission that you have a country where people are left to defend themselves, okay? And for whatever reason, again, I'm talking about the person whose primary duty and primary responsibility is to defend and protect the lives and property of the people. And all we've seen is kidnappings, all we've seen is bombings, all we've seen is terrorist activities, not just in one place, but all across different parts of the country. Okay? So again, I'm talking about give me results. Because in the face of it, if we actually had our hearts together, Trump should not be the one telling us, that there's been a lot of terrorist activities taking place and innocent Christians being killed. So again, that's it. So when you talk about politics, as far as I'm concerned, and I'll continue to say it here, that the president, Tinubu, dropped the ball with respect to the security of Nigeria. Again, I'm not the president, he's the president. And the metrics shows that. All these atrocities won't be happening if the Sultan and other Fulani leaders are not in support of it. Exactly. So again, if you allow your country to be taken over by these salvages, okay, and you only responded, you only changed the Minister of Defense, you only changed some of your defense chiefs when Trump tweeted, then again, I would say, why didn't you change it all along? Why did you wait for a tweet from a president of another country before we even saw all those things happening? And that is where I would say that the political will was actually not strong.
This world, the ISIS of this world, we won't sleep if they're still there. Right. So as much as possible, so far, so good.
All right. Thank you, Governor Fayose. That's like the most important story out there today. So it was important to get your perspectives on it. So let's move on to local politics. Since our last conversation, a lot has gone wrong with the PDP. A lot more is still happening. Part of which you're here tonight. PDP had 11 governors in January, ending the year with just 4. As someone who was once a governor under this platform, under the platform of this party, how do you describe that?
Well, when there's a deterioration, a deterioration starting from the head, the common Yoruba man will say, when the fish decays from the head, then there's problems. When the fish decays from the body, you can cure it. Yes, politics is about interest, but it should not be a mad interest. Let me start by saying that the excesses of Governor Makinde must be contained if this party will remain. I've been a consistent Nigerian, and I want to stand here to tell me, Ayo Fayose, that anybody has confronted me with what I.
Hold on, sorry, I had to pause there. These crimes happen everywhere, even in America, in Nigeria, okay? Crime did not start today. No, we're not talking about crime here. If it's normal petty crime, if it's normal vandalism or just normal petty thief stuff or even armed robbery, we're talking about terrorism here. It's not just crime. Crime is everywhere, it does happen everywhere, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about a concerted effort, by certain players to go into villages to maim and kill them. An example of political will exhibited by Tinubu is how he deployed machinery to make sure that he destroyed the opposition party and made many PDP governors defect to APC see, for all it's worth, okay, when you talk about policies, when you talk about things that this guy did, this is what I call political will. Okay, when Buhari was leaving, 2020, May 29, he said he ensured that subsidy remained up until his last day in office. Okay, now, Tinubu came in first day. He had some options. One of the options is this. You could always create a new budget and just call it more like an addendum and say, we're still going to continue with subsidy. And we're going to add it to the budget. We just do more like a supplementary budget. He didn't do that. He decided and said, you know what, subsidy is done and it's done. And he said it before he even came into power. He said, you know what, subsidy is going and you can complain, you can go for protest and all that. I'm going to remove subsidy and it's going to be removed. There were a lot of back and forth. People were at a disadvantage. Foreign currency also, he floated it once and for all. A lot of businesses were impacted. We saw business leave Nigeria. In terms of that reforms, over time, we're going to start to see some benefits from that. But this is what he said. He said, I will be in charge of the economy. Shetima will be in charge of the security. Okay? So at the end of the day, for him to have failed in terms of security is on him because he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And if you're trying to cover for him, then I don't know what to say to you. In insecurity, he doesn't have that will. He has the will when it comes to politics also. All the other political parties now, they're in disarray. Even a court party that nobody knows what the hell they're doing, they're also down. And it's just crazy. Yeah, let's go back to this. This guy is trying to blame Seyi Makinde. I don't think Seyi Makinde is a problem. I don't even see Seyi Makinde as an heavyweight, to be honest with you, when it comes to Nigerian politics. Seyi Makinde is the governor of Oyo State. In Oyo State, yeah, he can hold the cards. But outside of Oyo State, I don't see Seyi Makinde as someone that really is going to be able to move the party at a national level. So again, blaming Seyi Makinde for this problem, I don't think it's in, I don't know. It's just
said many years back, and today I said something different. And I'm saying it again. I've said it in several fora. I'm not a member of the APC, and I will never be.
Well, you're carrying waters for them.
The simple reason is this. You don't have to jump from one party to another to help the country. Most of the governors that jumped on their own interest.
Of course.
What they feel will secure their future and their people. And I wouldn't blame them. I must put that. When the PDP started sinking, I came out, I spoke to Seun Okinbaloye, I probably spoke to you as well, that the PDP will have a lot of challenges. Let me call it via to Governor Wike. Governor Wike did not hide to say that what Atiku agreed with them, he did not do it. He was straight up. He fought that cause. He didn't fight it alone. Governor Makinde was part of the struggle. Governor Epiasu, Governor Enugu, Governor Benue.
That's a G5 alliance.
The G5 alliance. They stood their ground. They met the president severally, without doubt. Let me equally say that.
Again, I mean, there is no way you want to sugarcoat it, okay? Anti-party activity is anti-party activity, okay? So, again, the G5, you know, they went with their conscience that it's time for us to have, the G5, it's time for them to have a southern president. And they went with that. That itself is also still an anti-party activity. There is no way to sugarcoat it. You might actually want, what's it called again? You might actually want something, okay, and you might actually go for that. But at the same time, you being in PDP supporting an APC candidate, despite the fact that your party at the central level has another candidate, is anti-party. That's just, I just want to put out how the terrorism is a crime. Oh, sure, yeah, I know. But there are crimes with different nature. But again, it's not a celebration. The military chief were altered because of the alleged coup, not as a reaction to Trump's statement or reaction to the matters in Nigeria. Oh, okay, good to know that. But again, my question would then be, and sorry that I'm cutting into this topic that I'm reacting to right now. But then my question would then be, so if not for the alleged coup, that means we'll still have the same security chief as we have as of today. How do you then measure their performance? You know, what I mean was that political will by a president is when the president puts his time and energy to effectively achieve a good outcome on a policy or program, which will be to the benefit of most people. Yeah, which will be beneficial to most people. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and also thanks for that observation. I'm just not happy because at the end of the day, and it's not just the North alone that is having a security challenge as we speak. There are issues also, even in the Southeast. I saw videos of people traveling to the Southeast and they had to turn back just this weekend. And again, my question is this: if truly Nnamdi Kanu, okay, was in custody for the best part of how many years now, how come we're not able, okay, to bring complete calm and complete peace to the Southeast? How come just with the rumor of the possibility of certain supporters, of Fubara, okay, in River State, in Port Harcourt, River State, how come the president was quick to remove Sim Fubara almost immediately, that even no major escalation happened? Okay, so you start looking at all of that and you're asking yourself the question, how come one place there's an eagerness to restore calm and peace, in another place you don't see such urgency? Okay, and then we just have to report, based on what we see and what we know. And I may not know everything, but what I'm seeing appears to me that, there's some questions that needs to be answered. Okay, let's go back to Fayose.
Majority of the people that has decamped today saw them as traitors.
So the G5 governors as traitors? As
traitors. And if you sit back, the presidential candidate of PDP left. The vice presidential candidate left. The governors, senators left. So that means
how many PDP governors do we even know?
What they never saw, we saw earlier on.
But they also said they were leaving, or they are leaving because of Minister Yesawike's excesses and dominance over the party.
You can't leave because of Wike's excesses, with all due respect. You can't leave.
Okay, now we're having problems here.
For where Wike left you, and you went to AP.
Okay. Let me see. I think I'm gonna be moving on. If I can't, I guess we're not gonna continue this because it's not just walking here. I don't know whatever is happening to the internet today. If it's the snow, it's just crazy. Okay, let me just cut that in and then just go back to this. Is Governor Seyi Makinde now born again, and why he says he regrets supporting President Tinubu? Fayose has watered the ground for Wike's interview tomorrow. Okay, let's see what happens here. Now my internet is crazy.
I should ask you that question. Is he born again? He said he regretted supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. His regret will become a reality at him in 2027. Let me say that. And I will come back on this platform to say Makinde's candidate did not make it. Let me tell you, in 2027, Makinde was the one in front speaking at Atiku, PDP. If they don't do this, when did Makinde become born again? What went wrong? Because they didn't pick his candidate as minister. We all have a will. Nobody drags you to another party if you don't want to go there. The G5 and all of us, and those that work for Peter Obi physically on the ground, what did we do at that time? If you say it's anti-party, what did we do?
Yeah, and again, to be honest, also, a lot of these PDP guys, even those that didn't defect, did work for Peter Obi in the Southeast. Because there's no way you can tell me Peter Obi was clearing like 90% upwards in the 2023 election in the Southeast. That was massive. I mean, that also did help him, in his totals.
No, that's a simple question. Governor Makinde and the G5 were celebrated by bringing and supporting Asiwaju. Did he just wake up from his slumber? You see, Asiwaju does not matter anymore. When they gave him 50 billion for the explosion and many opportunities, because they didn't make your man the minister of, what did you call it? Minister of, I don't know what you call it. But now telling me that Asiwaju is wrong. Asiwaju will determine who runs his government. My body language might say something else, my voice will say another. And let me say to you, Governor Makinde cannot tell any Nigerian that his role in G5 before the ascension of Asiwaju, what has changed? Because his minister was not chosen. So don't let us go there.
Yeah, again, that's the reality, right? In politics, is not a permanent friend or his permanent interest, and that was it, right? And we'll see what happens. Some Muslims in northern Nigeria are increasingly denouncing Sheikh Gumi, whom many view as an unofficial voice for certain armed group, accusing him of repeatedly expressing sympathy towards those involved in violence and kidnapping, while paying no attention to the victims. Okay, let's look at it.
It's going to even, honestly, with the way Sheikh Gumi is going, he's going to even cause more harm than good to the religion of Islam.
Okay.
I sincerely do not support what he's doing, because I wonder how you are going to be sympathetic to terrorists and forgetting the victims of the terrorists. How can we continue like this? And if Sheikh Gumi continues to do what he's doing, it's going to even make the situation more complicated. And because he's an Islamic cleric, it's going to bring more bad light to the religion of Islam. I am advising Sheikh Gumi to read the room. Please, Sheikh Gumi should read the room and understand what is happening and stop making, he should just stop commenting.
Yeah, I didn't even expect him that he would be talking after that bomb, after the airstrike. I don't know, but again, the guy seems to know a lot. And again, he also dines with a governmental official, so again, it's too big to carry from what I see.
Because he is further exacerbating the entire situation to be even worse than what it is. We cannot support negotiation with terrorists. There is nothing you are going to come and tell me that is going to make me accept that these guys are doing the right thing or they're unaliving people because of something was done to them.
Yeah.
We have to be very, very strategic in our thoughts.
Yeah. But again,
so please,
how many... Yeah, again, that's good for this guy coming out to speak out. I mean, it's a good one. We are more than all these so-called terrorist individuals, both Muslims and Christians, for those who love peace. For those who don't, then again, there's no need to argue. There's no need. There's no middle ground here.
Gumi should read the room and understand the situation, because now that the whole Christian genocide thing is trending, now that we're having a lot of attention in our country, now that the religion of Islam is really painted in a bad light, it's not a good time. It is not a good time for such comments and remarks.
And again, I don't even know who invited this Gumi guy to Ibadan. It was in Ibadan a few days ago. Talking about how the Muslims in the north and the Muslims in the south should come together. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You are the one that keeps saying that these people are your people. You're the one that keeps saying that there's nothing they can do to them. They're part of us.
Please, he should stop it. I am not with Sheikh Gumi on his plight of, negotiating with terrorists or bandits.
Gumi is getting kickbacks from the bandits. I mean, I don't know, but again, it seems like he has, I mean, anything can actually happen at this point in time. If that happens, I won't be surprised, that's what he's doing. Because he's always fast to come and speak. And then he keeps saying that the US is a terrorist country, so terrorists shouldn't be killing terrorists. I mean, it's just quite messed up.
There is nothing that you can compare to the life of a human being.
Nothing.
You cannot compare the life of cows to the life of a human being. So this is just what I'm here to say. This has to stop. I am a Muslim and I disassociate myself from what Sheikh GUMI is saying. I disassociate myself from the mode of operation he wants to imbibe and say he wants there should be negotiation with terrorists. I do not support that. I do not support that. You cannot be a terrorist apologist and you are going to expect us as Muslims to support that type of ideology. So please, Sheikh sir, please, I think it's high time you just step by the side and let's see how these things is good, because now you are exacerbating it, you're making the entire situation worse, and then the religion of Islam is being painted into a much...
Yeah, again, that's a fair take. We'll see what happens. If it's,
Honestly,
I don't think it's gonna hear. I am not surprised if GUMI is benefiting from the criminals. I mean, I don't know, but again, I won't be surprised also. I know not this GUMI, but there was another guy who I learned pocketed like 50 million from the ransom that was paid for these terrorists that kidnap people from this Abuja, I think Abuja to Kaduna railroad or so. Again, these guys get a lot of money also. So negotiating with them is even a big problem. But again, I just saw this. I wanted to play that out. It's about time. You can't keep romanticizing criminals, okay? For those who say it's a crime, yeah, criminals, and expect the victim to clap. Islam isn't the problem. Excusing violence is. We must understand the complexity and the nature of the insecurity in our country, Nigeria, for us effectively to deal with it. Okay, GUMI is telling Nigerians the nature of the insecurity, and whether we accept the reality or not, that's the nature of insecurity we are facing. They are our own citizens. No, I don't think so. I mean, if you're doing other things, it's fine. But when you're taking someone's life, you know, in the name of whatever it is, then you should face the consequences. Okay, so that's just it. Let me see this one. I will not be supporting the president for 2027. Wike can support him. Shema Akide says avoiding one-party dominance and defending the PDP are key reasons he will not support the president in 2027 after he supported him in 2023. Let's see this.
With the president and Wike. And
GUMI said that kidnapping people for a ransom is better than IPOB as for a country of their own. I don't know what the guy is. And I think it's the way the guy has actually been, brainwashed. I learned that his father was also a major Islamist who said he would rather die than see a Christian rule Nigeria. Again, it's just a dangerous ideology that he's actually peddling, and that's the problem. Back to
I'm saying this, in an open chat. The president's chief of staff was also in that meeting, and a few others.
Okay.
And Wike said to the president that, well, sir, I will hold PDP for you, against 2027. I was in shock.
No, but you were in shock? You shouldn't be in shock. I mean, this guy is the FCT minister. This guy is equivalent to at least a governor, technically. So what else would he have done if not hold PDP down for Tinubu for 2027? The colonizer gave you your belief system. Yeah, I agree with you. In a way, I've said it, that we actually take the white system. We had our own traditional system, and that's the problem we're having. And the same also is showing itself in politics. Okay, we take the white, we take the traditional, we mash it together, and then we just say, okay, now we have a system of a government. I agree with you.
So we got up, we got to the veranda. I said, did we agree to this?
Again, I don't know. I mean, this guy, I don't have anything against him. I don't hate him, but I just feel he's a lightweight. when it comes to Nigerian politics. He's a lightweight, you know. Yeah, that's just it.
I don't like talking about people, and I will not talk about people or talk about events. But I'll talk about the real issue. The real issue is that Wike would like to support the president for 2027. That's fine. It is within his right to do that. But also some of us that want to, you know, ensure that democracy survives in Nigeria. We don't drift into a one-party state, and we want to ensure that PDP survives.
I don't really believe in this one-party state thing that they're saying. I don't think Nigeria would be a one-party state, no matter what. We are we have different parts that will gravitate towards being a one-party state. That won't happen. Just the same way Obasanjo's third term, in quotes, didn't happen. I don't think the one-party state thing will happen. The people shouting one-party state are just talking from a place of lack of preparation. That doesn't mean that you don't have all this interference from the ruling party. Okay? Tinubu and his handler have seems okay. What Sheikh Gumi is doing is laughable for me. That this is beyond ideology. It is outright insanity. Sheikh Gumi is complicit to every mayhem unleashed. Yeah, I do agree with you. It's just bad. Tinubu and his handlers, I've seen that Wike is becoming very unpopular in Rivers State, and people are beginning to like Fubara. That's why you see the recent embrace of Fubara by Tinubu. Yeah, Fubara's last hope was actually defecting to APC. That was his last hope. If I was Fubara too, that's what I would have done. Because at the end of the day, it was Tinubu that technically saved him. If Tinubu had not taken him out as a governor, they would have impeached that guy long ago. And the whole stage was set. Wike already had the state assembly members. Everything was set. It was just for them to impeach him, and then Tinubu played the fast one. And at the end of the day, who gained? I think Tinubu gained from all those mayhem, all those problems, all those issues that they had in River State. And that's, again, Tinubu's political whatever instinct for you. Now Wike and Fubara now will be fighting on who can deliver most for the president come 2027. It's a big fight. I don't think Tinubu would abandon Wike at this point, though. But at the same time, I think whatever deal they're going to have with Fubara, everybody's going to be careful. And I think that's just it. They're going to be careful with Fubara. Whoever is going to have a deal with him, they're going to be very, very careful with him. And that's just the way politicians, that's just the way they live their own life.
She also allow us to do our own thing.
No, but the problem is that they're not going to allow you to do your thing. They're not going to allow you to have a party that runs. That's the plan. That's what Wike is doing. You have to know that.
It's just the issue between me and Wike. And I confided in a mutual friend of us after that meeting.
I love this. Tinubu did not save him. Tinubu saved Tinubu. Imagine Tinubu having a Wike that does not have a problem in Rivers and a Wike fully in control of Rivers. So it's good. Attention. Yeah, I agree. The Tinubu is all about Tinubu. And the guy saw that this is an opening and then he took advantage. So he has both of them under him now. If Fubara messes up, he knows how to deal with him. If Wike messes up, he knows how to deal with him. We'll see. I think he has an interview tomorrow. Or possibly today. I'm going to react to his media chat. He's been going around saying agreement is agreement. So we'll see what's up.
And I kept thinking, okay, the president did not ask him, do this for me. He was the one that volunteered that I will do that. So when I was telling our mutual friend, I said, look, maybe he was talking about an errand that the president never sent him. So let's watch. Let's engage him. Let's see if he will back off. But he never did. So after he didn't back off, I said, well, now it's time to confront him. Because I told him from that day that I will never be a part of this.
Okay.
And that is why I will not be supporting the president for 2027. is right, but also it is within my own right to decide within the political space.
Yeah, it's within your right. I
who
agree.
I will support or
Sure.
what I will do in 2027.
Again, and that's fair to him. I mean, if he wants to, the only problem is just that it becomes a little bit difficult right now for him because the whole PDP is already in shambles. The politics of if you can't beat them, you join them has kept Nigeria down. It's a shame how APC government moved Nigeria economy from boom to doom. The gaslight Nigeria, Wike's time is ticking. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where Wike goes from here, to be honest with you. And 2027 in Rivers will be one of those chaotic 2027, not for the presidency, okay, but for the state races and the local races. It's going to be a little bit tough in 2027. And what I think Wike was trying to play a fast one. But what we've learned over time is this: when you support a different government at the national level, it makes politics at the local level difficult for you. Go and ask all those AD governors, if I still remember. I think they were AD governors, right? Those days when they say, oh, we're going to support Obasanjo, right, for presidency, they got swept off. And it was quite crazy. So again, we'll see what happens. And that's that. About that. I want to talk about this case. I've seen Wike actually, let me see. I think there's been some stuff with respect to Wike, and I'm going to just see if I can see that. He actually granted some interview saying that he started singing on your mandate even before the song became so popular. And this is it. Okay, let me see if I can actually see that one. Okay, this is him here dancing. I just want to see stuff here. Okay, this is him here.
On behalf of our team, thank you again. Our way forward from January last year, let me inform you with my apologies.
Let me hear what he's saying here.
Let me inform you, we start what? You know me, I believe in agreement is what? Agreement is what? Anything you know you cannot do, don't say it. Don't enter into it. Nobody can use us. So let me say yes, I agree later. No, can't do that. Whatever you have agreed in the morning, it was agreed in the night. So don't be worrying yourself about who are shouting or your bandit will stand. We have shouted when it mattered most. If we did not shout out and staff said, would they shout now? No. Would they have shouted now? No. I have never hidden my position. Nigerians know.
Again, that's the agreement. We see what happens. Wike thinks he's smart. The truth is, Tinubu is smarter. Tinubu will definitely dump Wike after using him. We're gonna see. We'll be here. We'll be here. We'll see what really happens. Vote for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Rivers will over deliver for PBAT in 2027. Asiwaju na Agba policy as Wike is canvassing. Fubara will be doing his own too. That's it.
But we did it when it was time for people to say.
Okay, I've listened to that. I'm not going to listen to that again. So again, I think Tinubu is going to win Rivers again. I wonder how Wike and Fubara will start reacting when it looks obvious that Tinubu won't be re-elected, especially if the US body language says so. Well, that's going to be a tough one right now. I think Tinubu's candidacy is the one to lose, right? Because again, if Tinubu will not be elected, who else? What do you think, looking at all these individuals, the US will not be supporting an article against Tinubu, So again, I still think that with the way Nigerian politics is, it will be very, very difficult for the opposition, especially if they don't come together in 2026. I still think You know, I even asked Grok, like, who is going to win as of today? Who's going to win 2027? You know, I decided, wow, except, and if the US body language changes, so to what outcome would that be? Because I still don't, the way things are right now, I think that what Tinubu is going to do is going to try to do what he did in 2023, ensure that at every level, is just kind of getting the numbers that he needs, you know. But we'll see what happens, you know. We'll see what happens, and that's that's wicked for you. We'll see what happens. That's what I'm gonna say with respect to that. I'm gonna move on. Okay, I'm gonna move on from this politics of a thing. We've talked about ISIS, talked about Boko Haram, talked about the airstrike and all that. And we've also talked a little bit about politics, as it were. So let's go again to the stories that have been trending. I know this woman again. I've been moving here and there with different saga. So Doris Ogala, I thought it was over. I thought that story was over. Because last week, the lady was just, you know, all over my timeline with respect to different videos and all of that, you know, the pastors and all of that, the marriage ceremony, the failed promise to marry and all of that. I stand to be corrected, but Tinubu historically does not dump anyone. He would systematically ignore you. You will fade out yourself. Make another alliance and Tinubu will wait for you to come back. Yeah, I got great clips. Okay, yeah, you're free. What happened in 2023 won't repeat in 2027. People are suffering and ready to fight for their survival. Okay, so what's the strategy? Again, it's not as if I love what's happening in Nigeria. When I come here, I try to remove some kind of emotions from the reality that I'm seeing. You know, people suffer, but there needs to be some people that I would actually come together and hold the ground to say, okay, fine, it's time for me to work and to deliver for these people. And number one, you have to understand how your enemy operates. You have to understand how your enemy operates. Number two, you have to be able to organize. Number three, you have to be playing a game that is actually higher than what is currently being played. The person that you're going to be meeting in 2027, who is Tinubu, the problem that you're going to be having is that it's not just someone that was pushed to power. It's someone that has actually been an opposition leader and one of the major opposition leaders in Nigeria. Number two is a guy that understands politics and knows how to use it to his advantage. Okay? So, just for that alone, I'm still waiting. If I see any compelling evidence or if I see any compelling movement or structure today that is going to work in 2027, I will say, well, possibly there's a chance. Okay, there's a chance that, you know what, Tinubu, people are suffering and ready to fight for their survival. I hope so. You would think that people are suffering, but when you see them act in certain ways, you will discover that maybe they are not ready yet. But we'll see what happens. And again, I think 2026, I think what it's going to do is that it's going to jam the whole place with money, a lot of monies. There will be some level of relief in 2026. You know, from the way things are going, that's what I predict would happen. All this austerity stuff, I think is going to kind of soften on that and try to see how, because Nigerians do have short memory, unfortunately. So you can see someone that actually destroys state, they move on, and then they become a senator, or they move on, and then they become the speaker. Okay, so this is a long interview. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read this. Again, there's another saga where this woman is saying that there's another woman now that has come out for Pastor Chris Okafor. I don't even
tell me who he looks like. It's another victim that came to me. She's the owner of that 2-year-old boy.
Okay.
If I bring out the face of that boy, people will tell me who he looks like.
Oh.
This one has had 4 abortions.
Jesus.
Before this 5th one. Here's another victim. She's with me now. You'll be hearing her story soon.
Wow.
You'll be hearing her story. Her story is even worse than my story.
Wow. Okay, that's it. They want to legalize use of beavers and IRA for real-time display 2027 election, but failed. They criminalized vote buying, showing their strategy to win will be vote buying. Sorry. Okay, have you seen the elections that happened in Anambra? Have you seen the elections that happened in Edo? In Anambra, there was actually IRA operating. And I understand Peter Obi was not on the ballot. I understand that. But what I don't understand with respect to Anambra stuff is how LP got 10,000 when the winner got 400 plus and the runner-up got around 100K. So again, we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. I don't like the way the oppositions are right now in Nigeria. I mean, it's a painful stuff that the oppositions are not even united and they're not even playing half a game. They're not even playing 25% of the game that APC played, okay, in 2013, 2014. They're not even playing, they're not even close to that. They're not even playing that game. They're not united. APC is trying to say, okay, there's interference. Yes, there could be interference from APC, but even the opposition parties themselves, they're not even behaving like opposition. And that's the problem. So Doris Ogala, the drama queen, is at it again today. Let's see what we've got.
Spirit, and I praise the as Doris says, say the wife where you marry, that lady where you marry, say the lady is just 22, no be lie. The person will talk to me confirm say na grape na he carry and marry that lady.
Okay, sorry. Let's look at it. Okay, Anambra is not a good example of how opposition might perform in a presidential election, especially if Peter Obi is on the ballot. Yeah, and I did say it wasn't on the ballot. And again, I understand that. I understand the fact that Anambra is Abga. Abga is Anambra. I wasn't expecting Peter Obi's candidate to win in Anambra. But what I was trying to, maybe I didn't frame that well. Okay, pardon me, I didn't frame that well. What I was trying to say is this: no matter how, okay, Peter Obi will perform in a general stuff, or no matter how Peter Obi would do if he's on the ballot, you cannot tell me that the person that won got a 422,000, and the LP candidate got a 10,000. Or a little bit above 10,000. The gap is just too wide for me to be able to fathom the fact that, you know what, that this party is serious. And again, when you add LP, when you had ADC, and when you had, what's it called again? LP, ADC, and PDP together, they couldn't even meet YPP. Nobody knows who the hell YPP was. And then you had Abga having 400 plus, you had APC having around 100K. And that's the problem. For me, the real issue in Nigeria is politics. Not this shenanigans of Pastor Chris and his cohort. They've been having secret affairs with that pastor. They still sort it out secretly. Yeah. I cover all the story, right? Anything that's trending, I try to cover it. And again, they rigged it to make a statement against Peter Obi. Which one? Which statement? The Anambra election. No. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go into saying that they rigged the election to make it. That's not rigging. A 422K to a 10K, that's not rigging. Okay? You can say it was rigged to 422, but not Peter Obi. I don't think that had anything to make a statement, because if he's making a statement, it would be that there was actually a performance from Peter Obi's party, okay? And then whatever happens, they still made, the governor of Abga, which is the governorship candidate of Abga, win. It was just that the party was not there at the time. Yeah. So let me just see if there's anything. Again, we're gonna wait. We're gonna see what happens with respect to politics in here. I don't know if people are actually though interested in this, but I think I've been following this story. There's been a lot of back and forth, and I just feel like we should just check out what's been happening. Because politics at times could be tensed, so you need something like this to just cool down. Let me see, instead of watching this full stop, I'll just go in and see if there's anything that I can actually talk about with respect to that interview. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Just get some clips that I think we can actually talk about. Okay. So the Nollywood actress Doris Ogala claims that the pastor offered her 10,000 to silence her. Ogala alleged Pastor Chris Okafor, delivered 10,000 in cash via intermediary, urging her to retract claims of year-long relationship, broken promises, and sharing of private photos. She says she took the money only to prove it publicly, denying blackmail, and noting she briefly sought 50,000 compensation before clarifying it pushed her to name a price. Okay, so hold on. Let me just quickly look at this.
Please, Sha, you see me finish. Honestly, you see me finish. But this is $10,000. He gave me this one, 5,000 last night. We talked and talked. He was pleading and all that. This man, and then he gave me this one this afternoon. This time, like 20 minutes ago. So I decided to keep them. When I see them together, then I'll make a video. This man is just mad. Can you imagine this man wanted me to come and say that all the pastors or few pastors was the one who sent me to come and fight him. I should put it on the pastor. Come on.
Okay. Okay.
And mind you, this is my cigarette. I only smoke cigarettes.
Okay.
29.
Okay, so that's the update. Okay, we'll wait for that. Let me see. Wait for the campaign to start. Talking about the presidential campaign in 2027. They will say his influence couldn't get his candidate a substantial vote in Anambra gubernatorial election. Okay, yeah, I get your line of thoughts with respect to that. Possibly. But then again, yeah, presidential will be different. Anambra people is very aware of the chaos in LP. So those that voted for LP candidate are those that are still in the dark. Yeah, and I agree. I also learned that the candidate that eventually won the primaries in LP was not the candidate that Peter Obi actually put down. But again, talking about Peter Obi and his, and his party, I don't even know where Peter Obi is as of today. Is he still in LP? Is he forming a new party? I mean, there's been a lot of discussion with respect to that. Again, we're gonna see. We're going to see what happens. But that's that about that. Let me see one more thing. I've seen this one. I would see what happened with respect to, to Peter Obi's next move. Because I don't even know. I don't even know right now where he stands. Did you guys see this story? And it's quite painful. I saw it, but I've not actually gone to actually read and see what happened. Childhood friend accused of murdering Didi in Edo village. So in Oben village, Edo State, Didi was reportedly lured into a bush and attacked. So viewers' discretion, please is advised. With a machete by Amadine Williams, known as Old Soldier, on December 27. Williams fled to Benin City but was quickly apprehended, with videos showing him emotional and teary-eyed in custody. Details will lay on social media footage and witness accounts. As Edo State Police have not confirmed the incidents, online reaction expressed grief over the friendship tragic end, with many warning about envy and caution with old connection. Wow, that's a good lesson for those that travel home. This is crazy. Look at that.
You cannot say again. People when see the criminal, see the criminal. not the equity do what they do.
Why they call you now? Who called do it?
I just tired. Maybe there will happen at community.
Not pick that call. Not pick. May you the
Show your face. Show your face.
Not pick.
Look this camera well.
Not pick that.
So apparently, I mean, that's crazy. The guy just went home, went to the village, okay, and then he was targeted and killed. Wow. A young man identified as Didi, who returned from abroad to spend Christmas with his family in Edo State, has been reportedly unalived. According to available information, Didi was allegedly lured into a bush by a longtime childhood friend, where he was attacked with a machete. The suspect, okay, also known as Old Soldier, fled. Authorities have commenced investigation. That's quite painful. We'll see what happens. If we want Nigeria to work, we must stop voting parties and start voting candidates. But for candidates to win also, they need I mean, you're talking about a Nigeria, okay, that is really informed. You're talking of a Nigeria that doesn't look at ethnicity, that doesn't look at religion when they're making their voting decision. But as of right now, I don't think Nigeria is at that level, unfortunately. So it becomes very, very difficult, for you to just look at a candidate and look at the strength of that candidate alone and say this person is going to win. And it's not just a Nigeria phenomenon. Even major countries, even countries in Senate climes also try as much as possible to get their candidates in one or two political parties. So most countries operate the two political party system. And for the two political party system, for you to be able to be a candidate, you must actually take part in what is called a primaries. And most of these candidates, no matter how good they are, it's at the primary level that things get kind of mixed up. So it becomes very, very difficult. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how, we'll see what happens. 2026 is when we're going to know, okay, fine. These are the final candidates running for the presidency. Of course, we know Tinubu is running. We know Atiku is running. I don't know yet, but Obi seems to also be running because he has indicated that he wants to run. So we have those three major candidates, which kind of seem to me that we might be having a rerun of what happened in 2023, except if Atiku and Obi come together. But I don't know where Obi is with respect to, the state of things. Most likely, Obi might want to run with Atiku at this time, but I don't know. I don't know. The Nigerian tax reform set for January 1 rollout amid public skepticism. So President Tinubu signed 4 tax bill in law in June 2025, simplifying overlapping taxes and raising the personal income tax-free threshold to 800,000 annually. Officials, Taiwo Oyedele highlights relief for 98% of workers through bigger deduction for rent, health insurance, housing, and pensions, dropping effective rate to around 6% or less for minimum wage earner. Critics point to rising VAT, development levies, and discrepancies in bill versions. Okay, so let's look at the Very Dark Man speaks about the new tax starting 1st of January 2026, sends a message to the governor at Abuja Ratel Carnival. What is this?
We are talking about tax. The tax is good. It's not a bad idea. But before the tax, what have you been doing to make the country great? Ask them. What have you been doing? I'm not trying to be political right now, but the government should consider the people. If you want tax, give us security. At least just give us security. We'll be okay. You can take the tax, but make sure our women in the bushes are not killed, our farmers are not killed, our sisters in the bushes are not killed, our brothers are not kidnapped.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. Show us what you've been doing with the money and the taxes. Again, that's a good question. That's a good question. But then the way the tax system has also been, actually, I think the tax system is fair in a way, although I don't support the 5% for tax, but again, it is what it is. Yeah, but maybe when you start paying taxes, you can start, petitioning the government and ask questions. This is my tax. This is what's going to be happening. Now, I think people file by themselves. based on the new law. So we'll see what happens. Atiku is the real problem. He should tell us if he forgot something in Aso Rock. Well, it wasn't the president, so possibly he didn't forget anything at the presidential wing, but maybe at the VP wing and he's not going for VP. Again, people say Atiku is the problem. To be honest with you, I agree in a way, but again, he has the right to also contest. He has the right to contest. So, and if you're saying that he is the problem, okay, as far as I'm concerned, I think he's on a very weak footing right now compared to where he was in 2023. ADC does not even have one governor. So I'm still not sure, how he plans to make it work. And that's just my thought. Okay. So most workers will pay less taxes from January 2026. Under the new tax law, about 98% of workers in both the public and private sector are expected to pay less or no payee or personal income tax. This short video explains how personal income tax is calculated under the new law and what the changes could mean for you. Calculate your tax under the old and new law here. Let me see this one.
This new tax
Man, if that's the case, then I think it's fair. I think it's fair. To be honest with you, I mean, and this is not me just trying to carry waters for the government. I think it's fair, if that's it.
So we actually get
for tax calculator and other resources.
Again, yeah, the low tax people are protected until when they are no longer protected. I'm just saying. They are protected until when they change the formula, and that's just it. The tax reform is to everyone's benefit. Let me see this one.
What he gets in return from the government after paying his taxes in Canada versus Nigeria. In Canada, he gets a lot back. In Nigeria, he doesn't get anything. And the argument is valid. And this is one of the problems the tax law is supposed to solve. Do you know what that problem is? A lot of people are not paying taxes. That is why the few people that pay overpay, and they do not see any benefit to the taxes they are paying. I've given this example in one of my previous videos. I said you're living in an apartment of 6 flats. There's supposed to be a service charge to clean the compound, to maintain the place. You know how service charge is now. But of those 6 tenants, only 2 are paying the service charge. What do you think is going to happen in the compound in the long run? The compound will look in bad shape. And those 2 people that are paying will say, where is the money I'm paying for? This place is dirty, there's no water, or the water is not clean, or something. It's because 4 other people, majority of the people in the compound are not paying. So it will either be that those 2 people will end up overpaying, and even after overpaying, they do not see any benefit.
Okay, let me say, this guy is talking a kappa. Nothing he didn't say to analyze the floating of the naira. With respect to what now? In terms of floating of the naira, is it your submission, or is it your point that the naira shouldn't have been floated? In a country that can't account for who its citizens are, they haven't established the foundation necessary to implement such taxes. No matter how good it may sound, it's not for the people. Come on. So what do? We should not just try and implement that. Again, I said for the new tax law, for those that have been paying taxes before, I think they're going to get something back. They're going to start paying less taxes. For those that have not been paying taxes before, that's where the problem is. Because they are alien to paying taxes, especially those that are not really in the formal sector. Okay? And that's it. So again, with respect to the floating of Naira, I don't know what would have been the best alternative to the floating of Naira if Naira was not floated, because people were actually when it comes to Naira, finding it very difficult to get the dollars. The floating of Naira is senseless. Why do you say that? What about the VAT? Okay, let me see. What about the VAT? I don't know. Let me see. Why do you say the floating of Naira was senseless? I don't think it was senseless. Because again, we had like 5 different exchange rates. Okay. We had like 5 different exchange rates, and that was a big problem. Yeah. So this guy's an APC. Yeah, I mean, I entertain people from different perspectives, APC, PDP, LP, ADC, and all that. And again, I don't necessarily I just say things that I think is good. I wonder how those traders and businessmen and women who had would their businesses will be destroyed by Lagos Revenue Tax Force will see money to pay for taxes in Lagos. Those traders will learn in a hard way. I think whoever is going to do well, to be honest with you, I think whoever is going to do well with these new tax will still be those traders. Do you know why? At the end of the day, it's going to be the consumers that will pay. I think it's going to be the consumers that will pay. Because again, what people do, like in the West, okay, there are 2 ways, right? People will be like, okay, fine, 1, if you're going to pay for this thing, this is how much it is. But if you're going to pay with tax, this is how much it is. Some people will tell you that, oh, do you want me to do this service for you? If you're going to pay cash, this is the price. If you're not going to pay cash, if you're going to pay with tax, this is the price. So it's left for you to decide what you want to do. Now, if you want to do cash, that is, you're taking it out of the system, you may not be able to report it. So whatever expenses that you've incurred when you're doing your final taxes at the end of the year, those stuff that you've paid in cash, you may not be able to report it as part of your expenses. Okay, so that's it. But again, I think for the first 2 years, it's going to be kind of catastrophic. Yeah, because number 1, there's going to be a back and forth. I don't even think that you're going to see a smooth administration of this new tax law until after. Floating of the Naira brought inflation. Prices of goods and services went very high with relatively small increase in salaries of the worker. I blame the fact that Tinubu did not increase the worker's salary almost immediately with a huge margin when he did the floating of the Naira and the removal of the subsidy. I hate that he actually dragged in doing that. I hate that there was no commensurate increase in the salaries of workers, but I would not for 1 second tell you that the floating of Naira was a mistake. What it just did was to actually reveal the reality. It was painful, okay? It was painful, and I would not deny that fact. It was painful, and it was a very, very turbulent exercise. But to be honest with you, we were actually going to eat the rocks if the Naira was not floating. Of Naira is great, but not in Nigeria's standard. Every bank branch in Nigeria is selling dollars to Aboki, PTA, and BTA buyers are directed to Abokis by branch manager all over, same practice. But right now, is it easy to get the dollars? Because right now, you should be able to get dollars at the rate. The official rate and the Aboki rate today in Nigeria, you don't have that huge margin that you had, where if you are like a Dangote, you can actually get dollars at 400. If you are like a level below Dangote, you can get it for maybe 600, 700. Then if you are every other person, then you just go sort yourself out. Then we had the official rates. We had the banking rates. We had the IEFX rates. IEFX was the one that they carved out again because the whole thing was messed up. So you had the IEFX rates, and then you had the Aboki rates. And the Buhari's government couldn't even address the whole issue. The only thing that the CBN governor did was to suspend Aboki FX. Any taxes would just be passed on to the consumer. Exactly, subsidy is gone and CNG were to be introduced. Where are the bosses? That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. There are more Aboki dollar seller than bank branches that exist. Then again, they are open 24/7. So there's no way for the government institution to dictate anything until corruption is curbed. But my question is, do what the banks sell now, number one, do we even have dollars? Because one of the challenges we had at that time was that there is actually no dollars available for people. Then when you go to the bank, you want to travel, you got a queue. And then you keep calling your branch manager. The fraud in the Forex scheme was even also as bad as what you had in the subsidy. I'm not in Nigeria. The money I left in my bank account reduced. Oh, now you're telling me what? Reduced value by up to 500%? No, you mean by 50%. Your money reduced value by 50%. So again, you were being caught. You were being caught in the mix. That's what happened. You were being caught in the mix. Because the truth is this. If you had known, if we had allowed the market to play out the way it should, okay? If you had allowed the market to play out the way it should, then possibly you will be able. No, how do you mean the value cannot reduce by 500%? I mean, is that how your value reduced to zero, which is not possible? That means you have nothing. Okay. Yeah, but I'm going to leave it at that. Academic arguments means nothing to the living condition of 100 millions of people of Nigeria. You're right. Right. Well, no matter the English I speak here right now, the people that are outing, okay, does not even understand the English I'm speaking. The people that are outing does not even understand what I'm talking about. Unfortunately. But let me tell you the truth. You may not like this guy, and I'm not even carrying waters for this guy. I've already said it. Yeah, with respect to insecurity, it was done for. The problem that I had that we're going to face, and we have to be real, okay? And I'm not here to kind of tell you that this is what you want to hear. The problem we're going to have and where we're heading to, if the subsidy wasn't removed, if the Forex wasn't actually floated, we might actually be getting to a Venezuela type situation. Because it was practically becoming impossible to even get dollars, to even get revenue to pay for the subsidies. Unfortunately. Remember, Jonathan came up with this removal of subsidy as far back as 2011, 2012. And the excuse he gave them was that the corruption was too much. It was prevailed upon, and it stopped, it withdrew, and increased it. Do you think what happened from that 2011 to 2023, do you think people were just chilling? No, they were stealing the money. They were stealing the subsidy money. They were stealing the fuel. They were diverting a lot of stuff. There were a lot of corruption that happened. So again, now with subsidy savings and no CNG buses, what would the taxes be used for? Since subsidy savings cannot be seen in over 2 years. A fair question. So again, this is what has happened to the subsidy money, and I'm not trying to. This is what has happened. There's been a lot of savings. Have you seen it? The obvious answer would be no. But this is where the savings have gone to. Number one, all the governors all across the country today are receiving nothing less than times 2 or times 3 of what they were receiving before the subsidy was removed. Nobody is dragging governors, unfortunately. Most of these governors are not even being held accountable. Okay, I know this tax law will open a new opportunity for tax masters to start chopping. Yeah, they are. Different webinars is going on. Nigeria, we know that most Nigerians are criminally minded. It's going to be who can cheat most. I'm telling you, I've been seeing a lot of webinars and all of that online. In fact, they had to pay for some hosts. Okay, for some online hosts to actually talk about it. The issue is not with the removal of forex and petrol subsidy to me. What would the taxes be used for? Most likely stolen again. Okay, so what do we do? Foolishness is running in your blood. Okay, so what do we do with respect to that? Okay, yeah. I mean, I agree with you. But do you think, again, you are looking at it from two different perspectives. If you've been paying taxes before, okay, and I'm not trying to say this just to, I'm not being paid to say this. I don't have any contract with any tax master or tax advisor or anything. If you've been paying taxes before in Nigeria, what you're going to pay, and this is what I can bet, I don't bet, but I can actually put my name down on it. If you're paying taxes before, right, you're working possibly in an official setting, what you're going to pay, okay, what you're going to pay is going to be lower. If you've not been paying taxes at all, then that's where the problem is. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, I mean, that's just what I think. It might be stupid, it might be foolish, but that's just my thought. I just come here to say what I think. I might be wrong, you know, but that's just what I think. What happened to the presidential yacht? Wondering what the cost of maintenance is. One of the major things I think that can be pressed on or can be fought for is the fact that our government is over bloated. Because people suffered because of the subsidy removal. Okay, people suffered because of the forex floating, but no politician suffered. No politician suffered. They got new buildings, you know, at Aso Rock. I think the VP also got his new mansion and all that. And that's the problem. And that's the distrust that happens between the government and the people, unfortunately. Most taxes in Nigeria are indirect. Talking about VAT and the likes. Tax collection in a country where most people live below the poverty line is a bad idea. It's a bad idea. It punishes survival, reduces trust, widens inequality, and weakens the economy instead of strengthening it. Again, I still think that at the end of the day, to be honest with you, I think they would not necessarily go after the common man, after those that are living below certain lines. I think what they're trying to do, and to be honest, this is what I think would happen. It's going to be a 2080 principle. They're not going to be going around looking for the jack, those people getting maybe 100K, 200K, 300K. I think for the next 2 years, I think the focus will majorly be on those that are really making. There will be some transactions that you make that definitely the tax person will come for you. So I don't think it's going to be those person maybe hawking on the road or trying to sell this on the road. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think so. But I even think also that maybe in the long run, this will be a system for the government to kind of help those people that are below the poverty line. Because one of the ways you could get benefits, you know, in the West is that you must file your taxes. So even if you're going to get child benefit, if you're going to get this benefit and that benefit, you must actually be able to prove that you filed your taxes, even if it is zero. Okay? Even if it is zero. Did the governors receive the same amount they received during Obasanjo's regime on Buhari's regime? I don't understand that point. What are you talking about? What the governors have received since the removal of the subsidy okay, since the removal of the subsidy has been nothing less than 2 times or 3 times what they've been receiving before. Way more than whatever they received during Obasanjo, way more than whatever they received during Buhari's regime. In fact, some governors received less during Buhari's regime. Bro, it's for everybody. This government doesn't have human heart. They don't send poor common man. No. So the thing is this. I don't even know how to explain it. Everybody files taxes, okay? But that doesn't mean everybody will pay the tax. Okay, there are 2 different things. You have conflicting it. If you're earning 800K in a year, you will file. What you're declaring is that I'm earning 800 or I'm earning below 800. What is your tax? 0. If you've gone ahead, if your employer had gone ahead to remove some taxes and remitted taxes on your behalf, they're going to put it there. Okay? And once they put it there, you can actually even get that money back when you file your tax. Most people operate in the informal sector and are living under the poverty line. If most people are filing 0 taxes, what's the point of the taxes? Good question. Good question. I believe that number 1 is this. A lot of people are living under the poverty line. When you file taxes, number 1, it could also form a basis for the government to be rewarding you in the future. And I don't know if Nigeria want to reward people, but I think at some point, one of the things, okay, let me explain this to you. And again, I just feel that this might make sense, and maybe it might not, and I might be wrong, but this is what I believe. When Tinubu removed subsidy, okay, I don't even know if we're still going to go back to this guy's stuff. When Tinubu removed subsidy, at the time, one of the challenges he had, and one of the problems that we had, is this. There was no way to help people that were going to be impacted by the subsidy because there was no data. People don't file taxes. The poor don't file taxes. Okay? That was the problem. That was the problem that we had, or the Nigerian had. And then people were hurting, people were suffering and all that. They came up with the idea of, okay, let's pay people cash. But it was all messed up because you don't even know who is getting the taxes, who is getting the cash or who is getting the benefits. And then they started doing all this stupid idea of sending almost 500 million to one individual's account, private account. Although I believe that the woman was actually suspended and removed as a minister. So how are you able to track that this certain number of people are living below the poverty line is based on what they declare? That doesn't mean that people don't take advantage of it. But when you declare, okay, then it gives you the right to be able to say, I'm below this line. So assuming, like, for example, that scenario happened again where subsidy was removed, they're going to be targeting individual accounts based on your tax ID, based on your whatever identification number that is being used. So again, those are the things. Let me see something here. Most people operate in the informal sector and are living under the poverty line. If most people are filing 0 tax, what's the point of taxes? Okay, that's it. The only book Tinubu read while growing up are all about ruling by weaponizing poverty. I agree with you. Then it creates hierarchy of supply chains just enough for him to be in control. Do you know how much that guy made from Lagos State? Just in 2024. And then he made almost 200 billion. Alpha Beta alone, just Lagos alone. Let me see if I can get that for you guys. Yeah. How much did Tinubu make? How much did Alpha Beta made? And now you might be looking at trillions of naira just from Alpha Beta. How much did Alpha Beta made from tax collection in Lagos State? In 2024. And that money, 2024, okay, let's see if it's going to bring something out. So that's it. This can never favor. Saying it works in the West ignores reality. Western taxes rely on stable income and services. Well, that's a fair point. Again, I'm saying it's going to feature rewards until 2019. What of someone that is working outside Nigeria saying it works in the West, ignores reality, Western unstable income and services? This can never favor Nigerians. These governments are thief. BAT knew there was no data regarding the population, but still went ahead with it. You think that won't happen with taxes? That's a fair point. And again, I don't know. Maybe it's going to botch it. Maybe it's going to be botched. Alpha Beta Consulting, Alpha Beta is a private firm that provides technology. For 2024, the state's total internally generated revenue, which excludes tax revenue, was approximately 1.25 trillion. Okay? Yeah, but how much? Yeah, according to December 2025, report by Sahara reporters based on leaked internal Alpha Beta document. Alpha Beta is the tax collecting firm in Lagos that, of course, we all know that is owned by Tinubu. The firm receives an 8% commission on the total revenue generated. This means Alpha Beta earned approximately 100 billion naira from its role in Lagos state revenue collection in 2024. Wow. Just collecting alone 100 billion naira. Again, yeah, we'll see what happens. You think that won't happen with tax? Again, they might botch it, right? Because government has a way of botching things. They might botch it. Do you see the people lining up in front of his house waiting for rice during holidays? Now those ones won't file tax. No, I don't think those ones are gonna be. Again, another thing they're gonna do with these taxes, that's what they're gonna be using against their political enemy at some point. I could see that happening. Right? This guy wants to do this and that. Oh, he didn't pay tax. He actually has some assets that he didn't declare and he was owing tax on that. Social media pundits also, might also suffer from that also. But we'll see what happens. Okay. So that's we'll see what happens with the tax issue. Yeah, but that's where things are right now. I'm gonna be following the incidents and see what happens. So that's that about that. Let me see if there is really any other thing trending. I did have some bookmarks. Let me see if going to. Let's see people lining up in the front of them. You said they are saving a lot, and you mentioned where those savings are going to, but you're not concerned that the government is still borrowing a lot. Yeah, I mean. So that's a fair point with respect to borrowing, but again, if you look at and this is a case, and again, I don't want people to. I mean, in terms of borrowing, okay. See, let me tell you the truth. Successive government would definitely have to borrow at some point. If you look at and I don't. Okay, you know what? That's a fair question. And that makes a lot of sense. But also, if you look at the inefficiency in the system, I think the way to go about this is to actually work on having efficiency in government. The federal government is over bloated. And I still don't know why. They're not trying to look at how they can streamline operation, not necessarily sacking people, but looking at how they operate and see if there are opportunities to actually save costs from there. There's still a lot of borrowing. There's a lot of inefficiency in the system. And that's the consequence of what we're facing. And again, corruption is not just at the executive level. Even at the administrative level where you have all these agencies and all that, there's a lot of corruption also happening there. If one company is collecting 10% from everybody without working, why won't it be rich? I'm telling you. So the 10% is not actually, so they're collecting 10% on the taxes or on the other revenues that are being, gotten. This is why I don't trust Showore and the Sahara reporters. 8% care. What we have always known is about 15% for Alpha Beta. I was actually thinking it should be around that 10% though. But even at 8%, that's like 100 billion, bro. I hope as APC under Tinubu is pushing for everyone to start paying taxes, They should remember that where you live, work, and do business is where you have right to vote for whoever they choose. Yeah. So somebody asked about people working. What of someone that is working outside Nigeria? As long as your income is not from Nigeria, you don't have any problem. But if you're making money from Nigeria, then I think there may be you might be obliged to pay certain taxes. But that will be on the profit, okay, that you make. That's what I believe. I might be wrong. If anybody has an alternative explanation, that would be helpful. I hope as APC under Tinubu is pushing for everyone to start paying taxes, you should remember that, where you live, and that's where you have the right to vote for whoever they choose. Federal government has also received more from subsidy, not just states. Yeah, they did. What are they doing with the savings except new Cadillac? Yeah, there's corruption at the federal government level too. There's a high level of corruption too. And that's a fair question. Most of those cars that these guys buy, because how much they pay on security and all that is really, really much. Really, really much. Let's see. If I collect 10% from everybody in this chat, I'll be richer than everybody here. Alphabet style. Yeah, that's it now. That's the way it works. And that's why the way this lotto system works, right? Collect few money from everybody, give just few people extreme money so that every other person will come and play the next time. The lotto man doesn't lose. He always gets rich. And that's the way it is. Unfortunately. So that's it. Let me see this Tambuwal. Okay, let me just go through my bookmarks and let me see if I have anything. Tambuwal here.
However, it is important that we understand that this is not a religious war. This is not an ethnic war. This is about our country and securing our country. So help may come from unexpected quarters. What we need to do is to make sure that no hidden agenda is pursued in the pursuit of this fight against terrorism. However, it is important that we understand.
I think that's you should watch for hidden agenda, but again, that's cool. Again, I saw this Wike FCT Minister Wike doing traditional wrestling dance with former Deputy Speaker of the House of Rep. Okay, yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. 2027 is knocking. We'll see what happens. We don't need breaking news. We need crowd to pursue kidnappers. I've done my best for my community. I have no regret. One day, the behind-the-scenes secret will be open. Harrison Gwanishu resumes bandits on with 3-man squad after being released from police custody. Again, I don't really know.
My brotherly. Like we they run us. You don't need crowd. You don't need crowd to pursue kidnappers. 3 man go do one. We don't need crowd. We don't need crowd to do one. 3 man. This animal in the field. With technology and human being, we go do one. See and hear. Not be joke. Not be cha-cha-cha. Not be cha-cha-cha. Not be cha-cha-cha.
We're on some
Not be cha-cha-cha. Not be cha-cha-cha. Your Excellency, the governor. We are working, man. Your men don't do them again. See the rifle. Empower us with better stuff. These people go clear. They go.
I don't even know this guy's case. He was saying that he wasn't charged and all that. I respect your manners and the way you do your analysis, your ability to absorb people's view, especially those with whom we may assume is negative submission. Yeah, again, the whole idea is just for people to talk. And again, I might be biased at times. I wouldn't lie to you. I mean, because we all have our biases one way or the other. But again, it is what it is. Just trying to build a community where people can come and speak and say their mind. Try to also not make the tension to be high at times, because at times it could be intense there. And that's the way. Just now finding out about Malami's 200 billion houses. What will we find out about this administration after they leave? Yeah, that's a good point. I've actually not really covered what's been happening with Malami. And it's quite unfortunate. Let me see. To be honest with you, all those guys under Buhari's tenure, they were just doing anyhow, man. And again, I agree. Even now too. 200 years in prison. Malami faces 200 years. EFCC drag AGF to court over 212 billion fraud. Let me look at this one.
Malami and his son may spend up to 200 years in prison.
I would believe when they are charged 200 years in prison. Let me see.
Guilty of all charges brought against them by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in what has become one of the most explosive corruption cases Nigeria has seen in recent years. The charges are massive, the allegations are shocking, and the implications are staggering for a man who once occupied the highest legal office in the land as Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice under former President Muhammadu Buhari. This is not just another corruption case. This is...
Sorry about that. I don't know what's happening today with my internet. I guess it's the snow. Oh my God. Okay, so that's let me see. I just want to get an overview. Thanks that you mentioned that again.
December 23rd, 2025.
Okay.
Under Nigerian law, each count of money laundering carries a prison sentence of not less than 4 years.
Okay, I'm just gonna pause.
But not more than 14 years, with 16 counts facing Malami and his son. If the court decides that these sentences should run consecutively, they could theoretically be looking at well over 200 years in prison.
Okay, I would believe when he goes to prison. And they've not even released Emefiele. Right? I don't even know. Have they released Emefiele on bail? Man, I need to do a lot of update. Abubakar Malami, a senior advocate of Nigeria, served as Nigerian Attorney General for Buhari. Okay, fine. Yeah, let's move on. Pre-2025. Okay. This remains under. Okay, so pre-2025, civil society group petition ICPC in 2023 over claims including distribution of luxury cars worth over 1 billion naira to supporters and alleged duplicate payment of legal fees in Abacha. Can you imagine? You're recovering a loot and you're still corrupt. You're paying duplicate payment of legal fees in Abacha loot. Other accusation involves interference in anti-corruption cases, okay, and opaque handling of recovered assets. So that's a double steal, right? Current development, EFCC detained Malami starting December 8, 2025 for questioning on corruption and initially mentioned terrorism financing, which he denied. On December 24, 2025, the EFCC filed 16 counts. Wow. 16 counts against Malami, his son, Abubakar Abdulaziz Malami, and associate NAIJA Bashar Asabe before the Federal High Court in Abuja. Key allegations: money laundering conspiracy, concealment and unlawful acquisition of proceeds from illegal activities under the Money Laundering Act of 2022. Use of corporate entities, okay, as fronts to launder billions of naira between 2015 and 2025. Specific transaction includes concealing over 1 billion in a sterling bank account. Wow. Acquisition of 41 high-value properties valued at approximately 200 billion, bro. Malami was detained for over 2 weeks, spending Christmas in custody. I think he's a Muslim, so it doesn't really matter. Court granted him bail, okay, but dispute arose over compliance and service of order, with Malami accusing the EFCC of unlawful detention and media trial. Malami's defense: he has consistently denied all allegations, describing the probe as politically motivated vendetta. He claims bias by EFCC chairman and insists on due process. Supporters, including northern groups, have called for his release and warned against selective justice. I don't understand all these northern group supporters. I don't understand. What is northern group supporters? I mean, Emefiele was also picked at some point. Even though people know that he's against this government, you know, from his act during that, but I wasn't seeing any Southeastern group coming as a body to say you must release him. I made a statement because when election comes, they will start telling non-Yorubas to go home to their state and not to vote if they have a vote for a different candidate that is Yoruba. To be honest with you, that's a big problem that I see is happening in Nigeria, and the race relations in Nigeria has really gone to a low point. And I think what should be emphasized is mutual. We should have this mutual understanding to each other. Because, for example, there are a lot of people that were not even born in another city. They were born in Lagos, right? They pay their taxes in Lagos, as you rightly said. They should be able to vote in Lagos. And that's the thing. But there should be just that mutual understanding and mutual respect. Will ransom be taxed? That's a fair question. That's a real fair question. Buhari and Osibajo, don't forget Tinubu's Aburo Osibajo was part of that administration. And that was why I was surprised. So Osibajo was part of that administration, right? But what I don't understand was people saying that they would have rather preferred an Osibajo to a Tinubu. If Osibajo was part of that 8 years administration that performed woefully, why is it that people said they would rather prefer an Osibajo to a Tinubu? Why don't you just judge them based on whatever it is that they were part of? Again, that's a question. Out of curiosity, what's the distance between Sokoto and Borno State? I think it's quite a distance. Let me see. Let me see if I can just grab that here. You're wondering why they went to bomb Sokoto, right? Why Trump decided to go to the heart of the caliphate. Okay, just putting that. Recovering loot still corrupt. Yeah. You think new taxes will not enter the same pipe? I agree with you. Yeah, it's 541 miles, 870 kilometers, straight line. I'm not asking for straight line. What am I talking about? Road travel is like 1,000 kilometers. Really? That looks a little bit far though. So it's 13 to 15 hours. Whoa, that's far. Under normal condition. Okay. So it's a 13 hours drive from Sokoto. So this is the map. Let me see if I can expand this. This is Borno, right? This is Borno here towards the far left, Maiduguri, right? And then where's Sokoto? And this is Sokoto here. So Borno, Maiduguri borders Lake Chad, and while Sokoto is borders NAIJA. So they went to bomb here, but they said that these people coming through NAIJA, and then they coming through Sokoto, possibly they then distribute them to other states from Sokoto. Okay. It's east to west. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks for that. Okay, recovering loot but still corrupt. You think new taxes will not enter the same pipe? We'll see what happens. But when you start paying taxes, I think you now have more power to demand that your tax work. Also, there's a psychology there. I believe to be AG, you can't be partisan to a political party. I think it's time for Malami to join APC. But he's an ex-AG. So I think he can join. That is Malami alone. Emefiele had 750 houses too in Abuja. That the level of corruption of Emefiele, even Tinubu had to talk about it. I'm like, okay, what are we getting to here? Do you think taxes will not be sent to somebody's side chick? I don't know. The SGF just married now. We'll see what happens with that one. Tinubu's APC brought terrible ethnic politics and even fake bishop to Nigerian politics, propaganda pro max. Yeah, I mean, so again, I think I have a different perspective with respect to how Tinubu actually played his politics with respect to that Muslim ticket. That fake bishop thing was dumb. They shouldn't have done that. They should have just let people understand, you know what? Tinubu wants to be president, okay? He wants to be president. And this was my own thought. I might be wrong. Nigeria is still kind of entrenched in his religious and ethnic ways. Tinubu knows that there is no way he's going to put a Christian from the north and be able to garner support. So he went to make a deal. I don't know, maybe with the devil. Yeah. But he made a deal with them. Okay, I'm going to select a Muslim person, okay, to be my vice from the north that he can relate with. Peter Obi didn't have that problem because Peter Obi is a Christian. Dati is a Muslim, I believe, and is from the north. And even at that, with that even being from the north, okay, Dati couldn't even pull as much in terms of political weight, right? I think they went to make a deal. They made a deal. And that was why Tinubu wanted to be president. The only way he could be president is for him to get a Muslim from the north. Now, this was where it gets interesting. They were going around, and this is how I got to know. They were going around the mosques telling them that they have to vote for a Muslim ticket. That they see it as somewhat of a plan. And then the South was saying that you cannot vote for a Muslim ticket. Reason why Peter Obi won Lagos, because the churches stood against the Muslim ticket for the most part. So they were able to capture Lagos for Peter Obi. That was what happened. There are many parts to why many people preferred Osibajo to Tinubu. Tinubu is known to be corrupt and very rich, whereas Osibajo is a Christian and well-educated and not a criminal. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But at the end of the day, Osibajo was part of this 8 years of Buhari that I see was a calamity. Yeah, extreme distance apart. Yeah. It was done, but they still did it. So, yeah. Again, more fire in Nigeria. Location Aso Rock because there are more bandits there. What do you mean more fire in Nigeria? Location Aso Rock because there are more bandits there. Who was the deal breaker? El Rufai. El Rufai was part of them. Because El Rufai came out after the election and he made a very, very stupid comment. And this was what he said. You know what he said? Let me see if I can get that. He said they wanted to fight this Muslim ticket with us. He said it in a gathering of, I think, some Islamic people. That who do they think they want to fight this fight with? They should go and bring themselves to fight this fight with us. Next time, they will learn that they should not fight that fight. And that was referring to the fight that people were saying that they won't vote for Tinubu because it was a Muslim ticket. And that was where I felt like, and El Rufai has made so many statements, you know, and that's it. That doesn't even gel with me. Still tomorrow, I still don't understand how he's a very close friend of Tunde Bakare. But that's a discussion for another day. You know, I'm perplexed about the bombings in Sokoto. There is something we don't know. In due time, perhaps. Yeah, they said that's where the kingpins are. You go for the king. You know, you don't need to be going to the field. You go and hit the base of the enemy. You know, what were you looking at? Yeah, but Abiola Kingibe was Muslim too. Yeah, Abiola Kingibe was Muslim, and people didn't have issues with it at the time. But we've moved away from. I think right now we're in a sensitive state. Not even just Muslim, even ethnic stuff also. What Chris said about, you know, the fight between you pay tax in Lagos and then you want to vote, they'll tell you that go to your land and vote. We're in a very, very dark times right now. You know, Abiola then was a liberal person too, right? So there was really no issue there. Osibajo was a willing part of the calamity. Yeah, I think it was cutting. I mean, what really vexed me with Osibajo was when he came out to say that he's going to continue Buhari's legacy. Then again, I mean, practically speaking, do you think that an Osibajo, okay, would have actually had a chance against the person that made him to be the vice president? again, to me, I just felt like Osinbajo should have just stayed out of the race. But again, it's his right to actually run, and he did run. So, yeah. We had opportunities to be president when Buhari was sick. He made good use of it. He fired people, but at the end of the day, I think that was one of the reasons why I think those people ganged up against him. Because I love what he did when he was the acting president. I love what he did when he was the acting president, but he got to a point where I just felt like at some point, like you cannot say you can't claim that you're not part of something when you're actually part of that government, even though it was sidelined a lot. Tinubu too was sidelined actually. It was Abba Kyari and all those guys that was surrounding Buhari that was actually in charge. In fact, this guy came out to say that they were actually bugging the office of the house of Buhari. Is it the office of Buhari? And I think he made that statement today that, you know what, that if people want him to release more information, he was going to release more information. Charles Omole. That they were bugging Buhari's house. Because Buhari was clearly not the one leading us at that time, right? So they were bugging his house, they were bugging everything. Okay. Yeah, this is the video. Let's see. Buhari loved reading newspaper. There are reports that Kabal created a version in the newspaper that he wanted. Not this one. This is it here. Okay. Every time the DSS did a sweep of his room and his offices, they found bugs. Every time. Who put it there? Who had access to his bedroom? The Kabal existed. Okay. Let me just quickly listen to it.
There are lots of people that were there. Largely, because of one thing or the other. As strong as Buhari was, he was an emotional human being. You know, you see people will say that he worked with my dad in the 70s, so of course, you know, he now appointed me or whatever. He is somebody who remembers those who have been good to him, and clearly when he appoints them, the kind of guardrails that were needed to make sure that they performed were not put in place. And I think that, for me, is the weakness of that administration. But that could be mitigated by things like, was he fully aware of what's going on?
He wasn't aware of what's going on. He wasn't really aware. The guy was just running. I don't even know, to be honest with you. Wasn't really aware. The guy wants to sell books, right? We had the opportunity when Buhari was sick. He did good of it. Nigeria is in a certain state due to Tinubu's APC. Yeah, but wait, how far the guy they gave contracts or put in charge of NIM in the beginning? I don't even know much about that one. People were worried that non-Nigerians will be flooded in and given a name. Is that still the case? I don't even know where that name is right now. I thought they're trying to also consolidate everything to just make it like you just have one scene like they do here, one scene and all that. Osinbajo was placeholder, I knew it. Osinbajo was a placeholder, but again, he did contest and he got some votes. I think at some point he aligned himself against people that were Tinubu's enemy. And to me, I felt like that was a mistake. Charles Omole wants to sell his book, right? Nin is to make them eligible to get voters card. Tinubu said, Moti Sinwoto, Jotokpe, I've been serving them for long. Emilio Con, it's my time now. So Osinbajo, I have no say. I listened to that full video where the one he gave in Ogun State, where he said, Eyi to Joko ino. Sure, let's upon the governor like Shemini. Now I was talking about the governor of Ogun State, saying that this Ogun State governor can even say he will be a governor without me. You understand? And then the famous saying that Buhari was crying on the TV because he had lost 3 times. I listened to that thing, and if you are in an opposition party, and I'm just saying it as an advice, okay? If you're an opposition party politician, I would say that if you've not listened to that video, I think the opposition party need to lock themselves in a room. And this is me wanting the opposition party to do well. They should lock themselves into a room. Thanks for bringing out that this thing. And go and listen to that Tinubu stuff. I think it was at that point, that was, I would say it was that speech that actually sold him, which I believe they already made deals with their backdoor deals and all that. But that speech was actually what captured the whole essence of his opposition fight from 1999 up until the time when he became the presidential stuff. Again, you may not like him, you may not like his management, you may not like what he's doing right now as a president, but in terms of opposition politics, if the opposition sits down to listen to that thing, it's in Yoruba though, and understand his mentality of how, despite the fact that Buhari performed woefully, despite the fact that they actually tried to sideline him, even in APC. So all this fight that we're seeing, all these factions that we're seeing right now, there were also times in the APC journey that they were also susceptible to that same problem. But the problem is the crop of oppositions that we have right now, they don't see themselves as opposition. That's the problem. They don't really see themselves as opposition. And there is no way you can be operating with that mindset and still think, that everything that they're going to give it to you. Look at what he says. Snatch it, grab it, run away with it. And then he even came out to say, you know what, this new Naira note in 2023 rather, that they were doing it because of him. The federal subsidy. So again, criticize Buhari, criticize Tinubu, but also look at the way he runs his party. Look at the way he runs his own thing. Look at it as an opposition, then work to actually beat him at his game. Work to beat him at his game. On a normal day, what we should have been seeing is people defecting from APC to maybe the coalition. Okay? Eleye of Ogun. Yeah. That's it. The government is the biggest enabler of this. Go back to your region and vote thing. Nobody from government has ever came out to call these people to order. Yeah, at some point, I think this thing really started as just more like a little talk here and there. But now it's actually reached the crescendo. And Twitter is a mess. Although people say TikTok is also bad. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the follow, Angel. Atiku and Obi simply split the vote. Same number of states won as Tinubu, unfortunately. If Obi had actually stayed with Atiku, I think we would have had a president Atiku. Because it would have been so difficult to actually, even if you want to rig it, there will be no way. The moment Obi left, and to be honest with you, I did support that movement of Obi trying to stick it to the politicians and people actually coming out in big numbers, 6 million plus votes. It's not fish. I applaud that effort. Okay. But to be honest with you, the moment the guy left, he made it easy. Even if you're going to cheat, he made it easy for them to even cheat. If that happened. Okay. If that happened, he made it easy. Because now you're not fighting one enemy. You're now fighting two. So Obi was fighting Atiku, structure of criminality, and then was fighting Tinubu. Okay? Tinubu was sitting down and saying that, good, my enemies are now what? They've divided the votes. He runs it like a mafia. Yeah, that's why if you want to win election, I want to take power from him, then you must be able to think like a mafia. If you don't think like a mafia, or don't run it like a mafia, or work harder than him, like a mafia, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, you'll be like, wow. And he's still running it like a mafia, bro. See what is happening. If there's a new party today, I bet you in the next 7 days, there will be a faction. Accord Party now that just came out for governorship in Osho State, they now have a faction. They have 2 factions now. ANEC will still give it to Tinubu regardless of who voted. I don't have black conservatives. Again, I'm not sure that it would have been that easy. So let's even say INEC gave it to him this way. I'm saying with Atiku and Obi together, I don't think it would have been that easy. I don't think it would have been that easy. I don't think because it was obvious APC was failing in a granular, like it was major. Like Buhari's regime, 8 years of calamity. Okay, and then you now had the opportunity of an Atiku. Okay, no matter what, you still got that Hausa vote, and then you have an Obi, who I believe at that time Southeast would have been locked down for PDP because they don't even vote other party; they only vote PDP, except for when Obi ran. So again, we'll see. Yeah, if Atiku and Obi stays together, Tinubu will lose. But I don't know if 2027 that will be the case. It will be very interesting if 2027 show defection doesn't mean anything. You defect with your one vote. That would be very amazing to watch. No, I think it's a different ball game in 2027. Because now the guy that you were actually fighting with as an outsider in quotes, even though he still had, the government in power, is now the one in charge. It's different. And I don't know, anything can still happen, okay? But it's difficult. And the defection we're seeing right now, it's not like the defection, okay, that happened in, how will I put it now? In 2015, these people defected, they helped in a way, they helped Buhari in a way. But this defection, they are coming with the fact that they want to work for Tinubu. Atiku and Obi won against Buhari and they still rigged it. Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't follow the 2019 election. That might be plausible. I wouldn't, that might be plausible because I was even worried that they allowed Buhari to do a second term, given that his first term was already beginning to fade in his first term rather. Yeah, Accord was established by Ladoja after Adedibu's mayhem in Ibadan. Yeah, I know Ladoja was an Accord person, and then they've actually gone solo, but now they I would say that he got rejuvenated, came out from hibernation when Adeleke now decided to run for governorship with them, and now we have another faction in Accord party with another candidate for governorship. But we'll see what happens. Okay, let me continue with this bugging story.
If you understand how, there's one point in the book where when I was interviewing Bichi, the former DSS boss, where he actually said at some point, and I'm quoting him now, he was concerned for the physical safety of the president.
Wow.
When they said that during the interview, I had to stop and tell him to repeat it. He said, yes, there was concern for the physical safety of the president. Almost like the president, well, I'm not putting words in his mouth, but my perception of what he said was that maybe the president felt maybe if he pressed too hard on the necks of some people, his own personal safety could be jeopardized.
Really?
So it's a real challenge. When you have president whose office is bogged, whose bedroom is bogged, every time when DSS do the sweep, as they call it, of his room and of his office, they find bugs every time. They find bugs.
Wow.
So question has to be who puts it there? Who have access to his bedroom? So the fact that because you automatically you would assume it was DSS that was bugging it, but this is the head of the DSS saying it's a shock to them. So the question is, who planted those things in those places? So the cabal existed. Nobody can even tell me anything otherwise.
I know that you say he wasn't a weak president, but that's what the issue.
If he wasn't a weak president, then what was he? Again, I don't even know. He was quite a disappointment to me, though. Unfortunately,
Dr. Mole, the fact that all of these things you into the villa is a fortress. Okay,
but the fortress is in just some people that are in charge of that fortress. What are you talking about? The villa doesn't just stand in isolation. People come in there. There are servers. There are domestic workers. There are hierarchies. So again,
camera everywhere. This presidential villa of ours. It's a fortress. It's not easy for you to do whatever. It's either there's some people are complicit in this, or you're not as strong as you think you are.
No, it wasn't. Buhari was his own problem. Again, it was his own. Unfortunately, people thought that, he actually evolved. The guy didn't evolve. Fortress like Sambisa, right? The guy didn't evolve at all. I mean, for those 30 years or how many years he used the House of Power, the guy was it was just a pain. It was painful. And that's what we're still dealing with, unfortunately.
As president.
The narrative was that the moment he won the election and he moved to the villa, within 2 weeks, all his extended relations all moved to the villa and their children.
What?
And at that time, I think there's only one biological child or two of Buhari that was actually around at that time. So this extended family.
Okay, yeah, that was a long story. I just remember that I saw that the guy wasn't really in charge. I mean, it's fair. It's fair when you're at that level, right? A lot of things happen. I mean, when Jonathan left in 2015, he said I was in a cage. For the past 6 years, I was in a cage. And truly, the guy was in a cage, actually. To be honest, I agree with him on that one. That's the one thing that I agree with Jonathan on. He's a good man, but unfortunately, the powers that be was just too much for him to handle. It was just too much for him to handle. External interference and all that. Tinubu is good at funding opposition. Yeah, that's his own. I'm saying that guy is actually opposition personified. And that's why I still don't understand tomorrow. One thing I'm thinking is that for Tinubu to have become president, I think he actually sent, and I don't know if this is true, and it's just me just playing for my mind game, that I believe that they made it easy for Peter Obi to be able to move out of PDP so that he can pick the LP ticket. I still believe that it was also still Tinubu at work there. And mind you, Labour Party, from what I understood, their first governor, which was Mimiko, had so many court cases at that time, because then Obasanjo runs election like personal stuff, right? That it was actually Tinubu that actually helped also at the time. So again, I think the LP has some people in that party that is strictly loyal to just Tinubu alone. Because they did the court case together with Mimiko and all that. Although Mimiko came out to say, well, he just helped him in logistics, he didn't fund the tribunal or the whatever, the court cases and all that. But I still feel that he has a major inroad in that party. The presidency is good at playing at people's intelligence, claiming some cabals are disrupting him. Yeah, again, I mean, but the truth is that there are a lot of people, right? Buhari inherited mediocrity from Jonathan and amplified it. In fact, Buhari's own was worse. Because we were already in a hole then, right? Thinking that this guy will come in and Tinubu must go. Yeah, that's up to the opposition party to get themselves together. If they can put themselves together, and again, I mean, I don't know, but from what I'm seeing, I maybe 2026 things will change, but with what is happening right now, the oppositions are not even doing the right thing. Buhari don't know what team they do. Tinubu capitalized on it and rode his back to Aso Rock. Whereas Tinubu blew mediocrity out of proportion. Tinubu is not opposition, he's just a Lamba master, aka propaganda professional. Yeah, Tinubu go where? Tinubu that has made deals with the wealthy, powerful people. What? You will start seeing sons of quite prominent people in strategic government position, including governor's seat. You heard what Sheyi Makinde said, right? That Tinubu actually called him and said, will you hold APC in Ibadan for me? In your state for me? Discussion with him. That's how the guy is involved in his politics. He's not leaving anything to chance. Sees opportunity of fight between Fubara and Wike, took it over. Wike even knows that Tinubu did him strong thing. He said it. But there's nothing he can do. Because right now, he doesn't hold the key. And that's the reality. Let me see if I still have some other things in my let me see. My bookmark. Or if there's any story. This is okay, this one, we've seen this one before, where they will go and plant stories in newspapers so that Buhari can read it. Tinubu has made a deal. As far as I'm concerned, Tinubu, I think, is in a very good state for him, based on his own metrics for 2027. Yeah, okay. So this is that. Let me go my mark. Okay, I've listened to this. I've seen this one. I've seen this one. I've seen this one. I don't know what's happening. TikTok has reportedly discontinued paying Nigerian creator in Nigeria with accounts created in foreign location. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't know. This is my first Christmas in the UK. No buses, no train. Uber prices are ×3. After planting all Christmas tree and decoration, what all the people in the UK do on Christmas Day is sleep. A lady expresses biggest culture shock of her existence. Okay. Doris Ogala is set to release a song dedicated to Pastor Chris Okafor. What the heck is this? What is this? I think this lady needs help, though. She needs help.
Now my picking be this so Chris. Hey, now your pick.
Why are you using the baby as a prop? Why are you using the baby as a prop? You can be on social media all you want. And I've advised her that she should just seek help. She needs help. I don't even know if she needs help, to be honest with you, but it's just been a lot of appearances, a lot of podcasting, a lot of show. I don't know if they're paying her also.
Picking be this so you know get another one. Now your son will be this so Chris. Chris is your son. No. Hey! Bomb! Won't come. Putting missile now, I won't release now.
In front of a small kid. And you can see that the child is actually not comfortable with her carrying him. And the child wants to actually get out of her hand. And she keeps locking the child up. Again, I don't know, man. These people.
Your picking be this so you don't get another one. Now your picking be this so one.
It's kind of unfortunate, though. Who will help her? Let her go and pay taxes. I mean, all those monies, right? She claimed there's a 45 million that Chris Okafor swindled from her. The money that she used to help seduce some people, that Prophet Jeremiah gave to Chris to give to her. You know? Yeah, that was it now. Yeah, so for that work, she actually got 45 million from Prophet Jeremiah. So allegedly, they said Prophet Jeremiah transferred the money to Pastor Chris. And then Pastor Chris did not remit. Pastor Chris only gave him like 50 million. So he's saying that he wants the balance. She's really milking the attention. She's milking the attention. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, again, I just saw that in my bookmark. That they settled her with 10,000 to keep the matter off, but no. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Did you guys see the fight that is happening in the US with this Somalia in Minnesota and Trump? I don't cover news on the US. I'm thinking of opening a new channel though, just to cover news, US news, Canada, UK, and all of those news, and also to live trade on that, because I just want to keep this Nigeria. Well, she's an actress. Attention is her currency. Exactly. Attention is her currency. I'm an Igbo guy from Abia State who is saying who is not doing anything. But okay. So again, this guy, I don't know if I should listen to this. Let me listen to what he has to say. I think what she felt for him has made her fall in love. I never thought he would leave her. I mean, that was a very bad gamble. I mean, you can't be doing all those work. Do you know the work she was doing for Pastor Chris? Helping him to do at times it was even more than a triangle at times. She sent Interpol, tried to seduce this guy. So again, I think that Pastor Chris knew that she actually fell in love with him and he manipulated that situation. Now, it's not a crime, okay, but I think he used that situation to his own advantage. Yeah, I think that's what he did. Possibly thinking that he was just going to pay him off. Let me look at this one. We must not be, let me see.
Did they show well? Okay. Now,
what's your name, sir?
My name is Nobleman Nkemjika.
I'm an
I'm an Igbo guy.
But I can see you that other man that is
hold on.
I can see you that
Let
you
me,
are the one.
wait, hold on now. Let me talk.
What's your relation with that man?
I'm from Abia State.
Okay.
That man you saw now was my friend. I brought him to Nigeria.
Wow.
He's from Mali.
Wow.
I invited him to come and experience Dirty December.
Yeah.
Now, you know, this is the first time I'm coming to Coastal Road.
Wow.
You understand?
Okay.
And since the project started, I have just been looking at it.
Okay.
I haven't taken it serious.
Okay.
But me coming today, I took my time to drive from the beginning of the project to the end. Video me.
Okay.
I want them to see me. You know, see.
Because of the Igbo people that are talking that the Tinubu did not you.
No, Tinubu is
Is this a propaganda video or what?
I'm an Igbo guy.
Okay.
You understand? And I will be very wicked and ungrateful to see this project and not give credit to Tinubu as Asiwaju.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Me driving through this project has given me hope. I have.
Now Coastal Road, you buy person from Mali, can't see. No, I guess the guy just came for Dirty December, not to see the Coastal Road, according to him.
From the generation of people who has been trolling Asiwaju on social media.
Oh, so this is your face.
But I am here to say now that
you have changed your mind.
I really appreciate this man.
Anybody with information on the Coastal Road, I see different points of views. People saying that it's a good thing that has happened and all that.
Yes. If every government coming can keep on with this type of projects, they can do more by building more schools, making life easy for us, building hospitals. With this type of road they are doing.
When was the governor of Lagos State?
When he was governor of Lagos State. When he was governor of Lagos State, he paid for my NECO. Yes. Hold on, please.
Okay, so when he was governor of Lagos State, he paid for your NECO. You've been trolling him, and now you just changed your mind. Are you sure you were not part of him? Are you sure you were not his supporter before?
When he was the governor of Lagos State, he paid for my NECO. He made people like us, me, my siblings, and my friends, he made us go to school. He gave us free education. We didn't pay anything. So, I'm doing this video to really appreciate Asiwaju. I'm doing this video to tell the youths to come out and support our president. Enough of the
No wonder the guy is speaking his truth though.
It is not. There is no need for us to start saying I'm Igbo, I'm Yoruba, I'm this. No, this is the betterment of Nigeria. Now, see, this thing has shown me that Asiwaju can fail.
Oh no, too smart.
Wait, I can't have more friend. See, hold on.
Okay, so the guy is, I don't know if anybody, the guy is right. Oh, okay. Have you used okay, someone is saying that he's right here. Yeah, okay. Let's finish what he's saying.
Asiwaju cannot fail. This man can fail. A man leading this type of project, he can fail.
Paid actor.
See, anybody waiting to say, look at if he will fail or not, he cannot fail. I'm coming out one more time to say thank you, sir. I just came to have fun. I came to Elegushi Beach, and I'm seeing this. I have no business. I'm a businessman.
You have no business. You're a businessman.
Okay. I'm not a politician. But what Tinubu has done, I salute him. Daddy, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Do more. Do more. Do more for us. Thank you. We are enjoying Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria is enjoying you, and we enjoy.
So do people come out and then, because I've seen different videos, I'm an Igbo guy from Abia State who is saying Tinubu is not doing anything. I've seen people, talk about this road that is help. The highway is a landmark that has never been built in Africa. Okay. So has it been completed? I think, I'm not sure it's been completed yet, right? See what NECO has produced. Coastal Road, change your mind. Paid actor Tinubu, the allegations are rebuking. Allegation, they will still return APC in Lagos now in 2027, right? Because I don't even know any major opposition now. I think Gbadebo Vivo has moved to ADC. Lucky guy waiting with the pay in NECO. That highway is a landmark that has never been built in Africa. Is there a place where I can actually see the major, how will I call it now? Maybe the prospectus or the major highlights of that? The road is not completed yet. Okay. So the one that was open is just a face, I believe, of that road. Okay. Okay, I'll leave that. Logical and intelligent people don't remain married for long. This guy, I don't know if I should listen to this.
I have been married for 40 years, and I said that for you to remain married, you must be stupid for this duration.
Oh, he's not complaining, NAIJA.
Okay.
Wow.
Logical people, intelligent people don't remain married for long.
Okay. Why?
Bill Gates.
Elon Musk.
Wole Soyinka.
Oh, Wole Soyinka is on
a host of them. Because you will reach a stage in life, your wife will annoy you. She will misbehave. She will do something wrong. She will start crying. You will need to apologize to her for crying for doing something wrong. And if you are logical, you won't do that.
Okay. Okay. Charles Akuki. I think that's the name. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this video is true, but this guy just calmed all the Ghanaian people.
30 p.m. and I don't see any rain. I don't see any rain at all. So did everyone waste my time and my money?
You do a very good.
I came so I can get a place in the Ark, and now it didn't happen. So if everyone needs to refund me my flight tickets and my apartment tickets, the apartment that I booked for, everyone needs to refund me because there's no rain. I've wasted my time now.
I think she's just blabbing. Okay. What's the economic benefit of that road in terms of linking into international market? Yeah, I think there are other things that comes with that coastal road. I think they're trying to kind of mimic. I don't know. That's what I heard. So don't stone me. They said they're trying to mimic some like Dubai kind of, how would I call it, model with respect to it's not just a road. There will be a lot of other focal points across that thing that could actually be economic centers and the likes. So that's it again. Tinubu mastered the art of suppressing votes in Lagos. Illusion of local government voting turns out are controlled. That is why both winners and losers in Lagos election are never up to 1.6 million when added together. Yeah, maybe that's what it's doing. But other preceding government never started the project at all. Buhari no do anything now. Although, yeah, I did some train which all these Boko Haram would attack from time to time. But again, I think in terms of an holistic stuff, Buhari was not there, in my own opinion. But other preceding government never started that. Hi, direct. Akpoki, right? That's his name. Logical people don't remain married for so long, but he's married. Is he married? Is he married? I don't even know. I'm not sure if he's currently married. Because I don't even know. He tries to, let me see. Is Charles Akpoki married? Let me see. I'm not sure. I know he used to be married. I don't know if he's still married. See me as they poke nose into other people's life. But again, it is what it is. The economy benefit will boost Nigeria. That's what I heard too. This one took Tinubu Coastal Road to Ghana. It took it to another level. Shut up, man. Look at Babalo Hawolowo. He even described his wife as a jewel of inestimable value. Yeah, again, yes, okay. I'm not saying I said, is he married? Is he still married? Yeah, I don't know if he's still married though. The economic benefit will boost Nigeria. That's Coastal Road for 8 states. Yes, he's still married to his wife, pastor. Oh, the wife is a pastor. As of late 2025, they've married over 40 years. Okay. We'll see what happens. So he's assuming that it's illogical. It goes across 8 states. Yeah. It's a road. It connects places. Even bush path will be used. Okay. What about logical people that are married for long? Yeah, I think you can look at it in 2 ways. He's saying that, yeah, for you to be married that long, you must actually apply some illogicality in your dealings with your wife when they come with their problems and all that. Apologize when you're even right. You know, that all those kind of things. But again, I just saw it. I was like, okay, fine. Let me just play separated, but they still, it's separated, right? But they still have good relationship. Because I know the way it talks like he's not currently married. So maybe it's logical. They live separately. Wow. Let's give credit where credit is due. The road will significantly reduce transport from Western state to the South, significantly driving socio-economic activity. Wow. Yeah. So again, I think when it's done also, there's this multiplier effect that I expect to happen. Take advice from Charles Apoki, your life done dabaru. Why? Some people really take advice from him. Maybe formerly married, but they separated and he shared it on his show. I know he used to talk about him not being married like that, or he's married and he left, and some things he learned and all that. So this guy, Eno Noah, or what's it called again? Is it Eno or Noah or Ebo Noah? Yeah. Okay, it's Ebo Noah. That guy that deceived a lot of people in Ghana, not knowing that the guy was just doing content. Just imagine the real estate in those states will boom. Yeah, I expect something major to come actually from that. Which is quite, I would expect that to happen. Okay. So this guy apparently scammed people. I mean, metaphorically speaking, you know, and now the guy is appearing in shows. Look at him here. The guy is now appearing in shows. Ghanaian prophet Ebo Noah, who claimed the world will end on Christmas, attended Sadoki's concert and told the audience to keep partying. What? Whoever actually was in charge of the background did this guy a favor. Like, did it as if there is actually real flood happening and the whole world is about to be subsumed. Atiku, as a typical Fulani man, is obsessed with power, and you would think that when he grabs it, he will do something very meaningful with it. Just going to be another Fulani agenda pursuit. Yeah. Oh, you're texting from New Jersey. How is New Jersey doing? I mean, it's just crazy that I know people said Atiku should just leave the scene for Peter Obi, but I think if this is the hill that Atiku will fight on, I'm not sure he's ready to leave for Peter Obi or someone else. And I think this is his last chance. I'm not sure it's going to. I'm not sure it's going to do anything. To be honest with you, wow, snowing. It's been a crazy weekend of snow around all those areas. You know, I'm not sure it's going to be able to leave the state for Obi to be president. I think the best he could offer Obi is the vice. That's my own opinion, though. The guy is fixated. It feels like Nigeria hold him that presidency. It's like we hold him that the way he does, like we hold him that presidency. But I've listened to PDP guys too. I mean, the love that PDP guys have for this guy, I don't even know if they're now ADC guys, have for Atiku is from another world. Like when they talk, it'll be like the guy has did this and that, is this and that, he did this and that. New Jersey man is telling us about Coastal Road. I can't believe it too. Oh yeah. No, but in a way, I think I do agree with the point of view. The boost to economy and all that. But hopefully they finish it and then we'll see what happens. Yeah, same way Tinubu said Emilio Con. Article is entitled. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Back to this point.
Conference Center. Rapaholic.
You're showing me sideways.
Let me catch him say, "Come in, no." Your mom will invite her, member. God reveals to redeem. And you mean, Chania, your pumpire, what pumpire, now you mean India, and you start on your fast. Let's party!
What the hell? What is this? This guy just cashed out, though. Got a Benz. I don't even know if he got that one on a note. Look at him, man. You know, that's the problem with social media. You know, that's the problem with social media. I mean, it's not only Gege that is wearing boxers. I think Ebonua looked at Gege and said, I'm going to take this to another level. Okay, every 4 years, this is what they say. Let me take this guy off my screen, to be honest with you. It's annoying as anything. But again, I guess it was like, you know what? Let me take this thing to another level. Let me take this grifting to another level. Okay. This other brother has something. Not brother. Whoever he is. The U.S. Army striking Sokoto did not have anything. Okay, I'm still Nigerian, and I go every 4 years. They will say, "Let me see." Every 4 years they will say, "Last chance. Please let him rest. He has nothing to offer." I get that. Oh, you go home every year? Wow, that's impressive. Loving Nigeria from New Jersey. Wow. I mean, so you definitely know what's happening. Yeah, if you go home every year. Yeah. No worry, my brother. Okay, the problem I have with the coastal project is where the money is coming from. I think they borrowed money. Why borrow money to fund the project? Sorry. Where are savings from the subsidy removal? Now, that's a fair question. Religion is truly a drug. Yeah. I mean, it's quite unfortunate that people fell for that guy's trick. And the guy was just doing content, too. The guy was doing, he even appeared on an SK Towers. He got sponsor. I mean, that's how I know that there's an SK Tower in Ghana. The guy has launched a new career. I'm telling you, took it even above Gege's level. Tinubu is not perfect, but he's doing his best. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think there are some things that I would say with respect to subsidy removal, although people are like, you know what, you should have removed the subsidy and economic reforms. I mean, I look at the stock exchange because I'm a finance guy. I look at the market. I look at what it's doing. Now, I don't give advice on market and all that, but I just monitor that. And I see that the market is peaked. Inflation is down. Okay. And inflation down doesn't mean price is coming down. Although people have said on this show that price is coming down and all that. That's good. On security, it's a no-no for me. I don't like the way he's handled security. Not even in the north alone, even in the southeast. Right? I don't like that. Like, I don't see a comprehensive security plan. Have you seen the video of the US missile that landed in someone's house in Kwara? No way. For real? Let me see. Really? They just give bonus. No, that's not. No way. You mean that? Let me see that. That's crazy. Wow. Man, if that happened, that's crazy. No, in Ofakwara, missile components causing explosion. Official statement described it as debris from expended munition with no civilian casualty reported. Similar debris landed in Jabu. It's not exactly a full intact missile. No, yeah, but then it's it's as a result of that airstrike, right? Let me see. Wow, that's crazy. What? First video from the drone strike in Ofa, Kwara State. Locals are reporting no casualty, but whoever was hit there was closely monitored. No, it could be a stray stuff. The US surveillance contractor aircraft covered this area too. Damn.
What's up,
Sorry about that. Let me reduce the volume.
What's done?
Wow. Wow, I didn't even know that Kwara State. Well, they've been having increased activity in Kwara State actually for a while now. We saw what happened in all those Kwara stuff. So maybe they just felt like, yeah, we see you, we know what's happening there. But that's crazy though. Let me help you all. Oh, no, that's not it. Wow. Part of those explosive, this is real US explosive, hit a neighboring state, Kwara, and almost caused civilian casualty. What is almost? Some of them didn't even explode. What the heck is this? Wow, this is one of those bombs, man. Wow.
It is painful.
It is painful. What do you want to say, Ajia? Man. Wow. Aftermath of the bomb that landed in Offa, Kwara State. Yeah, so if those guys are also operating in Offa, they will know that, man, you are actually within that area of the residents flee as US missile land in Sokoto village. Okay, yeah, we saw that. Live from Offa, Kwara State via residents, tell BBC Africa. Hold on one sec, let me see. The highway will pay the loan borrowed. Oh, so they're gonna do like that Lekki toll gate thing. Okay. Have you seen a video? Yeah. Why not borrow money? So yeah, you saw. Wow, did you see the effect of the tax? Let me see. So about that, did you see the effect of tax announcement on the Nigerian Stock Exchange? No one says it's not doing anything, but when social amenities are not in place, how would you rate the government not talking? Again, it's going to take a while. Talking about social amenities, it's going to take a while for all these things to actually come together, and that's it. You don't even know why. Come on, let me see this story on this bombing. I didn't even know Kwara also got impacted.
Country people, wherever na they watch us this evening, I throw salute. This na BBC Pidgin. We there for Offa town for Kwara State, North Central Nigeria. And una go down they hear the story about what happened. Say something happened overnight. They're not sure whether na bomb, they're not sure whether na missile, they're not sure whether na drone. But what we
okay, na bomb. Let me just fast forward again.
Things inside our shop. Àwọn nǹkan wo lẹ fi sínú shop yín tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí tó ṣàkóbá fún.
Ó pọ̀ gan sàbí àwọn bíi fridge méjì, a lot of provision, drinks, pack.
Will the government indemnify these guys? I mean, the state government should indemnify them. You know, again, that's a
how
thing.
the chemical where they inside that thing, how it take be. So far they don't carry and come out. Police people don't carry and go back to Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. They do investigation to tell country people say this now waiting happen. But so far people wait there for offer. They in a state of a small panic because right now things don't settle, but plenty people just still they gather around here. Right. They can't look waiting happen. Good evening, sir. Miss around the video. Yeah, around the video, sir. Okay. So far for this side where we did for near the Eid praying ground, 2 houses for my.
Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, that's that about that. At least the good thing was that nobody was wounded there. The report makes it sound like nothing, but the video landed in a civilian house. Yeah, that's crazy. Actually, they need to look into that. And this is not like, this doesn't look like a terrorist hangout. So again, talking about unintended consequences, it's just messed up. What effect did the tax have on the Nigerian Stock Exchange? I know the market has been flat for a while, and nothing really has been happening. Yeah, I know when Trump tweeted, the market started going down. and that was what happened. The report makes it sound like nothing happened. Okay, yeah, nothing, but the video landed in a civilian house. It's so bad. American missiles are common to landing straight targets. True that. Should mainstream media be showing this video? Yeah, why not? Why not? So Nigerians rushed out to play with their applications. I support the tax bill, but I want the money well spent. I think when people start paying tax, there will be more demand for accountability. I think when people start paying tax, hopefully, let me put it there, hopefully there will be more demand for accountability. Everything takes a while, but Tinubu's yachi doesn't take a while. Tinubu knows how to take care of himself and his cronies. That's on the unfortunate thing. Look at the son too. Guys just enjoying life. I know Wale Soyinka came out to put a stray bullet, right? Tinubu should have sent Sheyi Tinubu to Mali because he already has the entourage. He should leave that place and come to Coastal Road. She should leave that place. Okay. America is testing the waters to see the effect of this strike because it seems like they were any meaningful target. This is the effect of calling the US to solve the issue. No matter what the US does, I think we still need to ensure that we solve our problems ourselves. I'll be the new Okolomo of Yoruba land. Yeah, that's the guy. So the guy is the one in charge of, I believe he's the one in charge of Tinubu investment right now. Quite unfortunate. And this man is always making mouth. Okay, as he was saying that US should come, he will show them. Again, let me just move on.
For Muslims of South, East, and South. Muslims from Southeast and South. We have some visitors and observers, but it's mostly a Muslim program for Southeast and South. But that's not what I'm going to talk about now. A lot of people have been sending questions to me, inboxing me on what I said about the origin of urban people. I am here.
Hi.
I am here. I am in my house.
Okay.
And I don't think that Norman...
Yeah, he's a content creator. You should leave this thing for we guys to be creating content. The guy is not even gathering his
people have been inboxing me and
yeah, because you made mouth, right? You made mouth that they can't come, right?
That I said something about the urban people, the Oafia people,
Okay, I'm gonna move on.
They were thrown in open fields.
Okay, so he's talking about the bomb now. Okay.
Where innocent people are.
How do you know that the people there were innocent? How do you know the people there were innocent?
Open field endangering the life of innocent people. So I will not dwell on that because that is not what I came for, but I think it's shameful and we believe these lies by these people. We believe these lies by these people. I'm a Muslim. Mm-hmm. I'll continue to be a Muslim and I'll continue to talk about Islam. I'm proud to be a Muslim. But what I'm talking about is about my people now. If you have any other proof of where the bomb landed and killed...
What do you mean about my people? What is he talking about? Why are your people? I thought they were there to at least rattle the terrorists and strike the terrorists, targeted strikes. Do you think they just decided to stay at the shore of the country and then they strike a place? Do you think that they would have just... Why is it that they went to Sokoto? I mean, we've talked about that at the beginning of this show and all that. And I read also that there had been actually 353 incidents. So he's talking about his people, but they are not targeting Muslims that are not involved in terrorism. They're only going to target Islamic extremists. This is a content creator. What about the killings in Nigeria? Exactly. Now, Trump is transactional. Yeah, I agree with that fact that he's transactional. That's why we need to secure our place ourselves. But if we're not doing a good job, and this thing is getting getting out of hand, then it's crazy. Yeah, no wonder you don't see the killings. It's people using
It's a bandit, one terrorist, just one terrorist. Come here, I challenge you. Come here and show us the proof that one terrorist or one bandit was killed.
Asari Dokubo is the most confused person.
Bomb from the United States of America. So I'm not going to waste my time with you because of your so-called precision strike. You want me to show you the precision strike you are talking about on an ordinary field? No.
Okay.
See your precision strike.
Okay, showing the Kwara strike. Again, how many strikes? Again, we cannot just so. Again, we'll still wait for more things. I don't want to say things that I don't know, right? And all that. Ignorance, right? Let me see. Asari Dokubo is the most confused human being on earth. Let's talk about something more important. That he was he was a sponsored candidate as an Islamic convert. Really? Wow. Rufai and Abati have been making many statements recently that are similar to the types that they've used to antagonize their guests by asking the guests for empirical evidences. Only Nigerians can solve Nigerian problem. Again, I don't even know. I know that I think Abati for a while now has been. I don't even know where they stand in that. There was a rumor, which is a rumor that what's it called again? Rufai was saying it was suspended, but I think that was a lie, though. I think he's back and is kicking. He will collab with Ebonua soon. Ebonua is now a global star. That guy took the Gege stuff. You know, Gege is only boxers. This one went to actually carry sackcloths. If you believe that Asari Dokubo, it's at your own peril. Follow Tinubu, drop him when he's not in his favor. Yeah, the guy is also transactional, just like Trump, right? You know, Asari feels like when he knows more than anyone in the entire, he feels like he knows more than exactly, yeah. Yeah, the guy is always, I don't know. I believe when the power changes and this Asari will pay with his life because of the innocent youth in the East, he eliminated with his military men, contacted by the government of Buhari. Oh, I didn't even see that one coming. Yeah, I keep wondering. So what is this? Like, I know Tompolo is in charge of the pipelines. What is this guy's job particularly? What does he do? This guy has been around for a while. Oh. A precision strike doesn't mean human targets according to America. Yeah, again, I mean, that doesn't mean when there's a precision strike also, that doesn't mean that one or two may not actually falter, right? I mean, remember the strike that Israel did with, did against these guys, the Hamas leader in, what's it called again? In Qatar. Apparently, some people died, but the real culprits were not actually, arrested. Sorry, were not eliminated, rather. The real culprits were not really eliminated in Qatar. And they did all top-level intelligence and all that. Again, all these things do happen. They do happen. It's the reality of war. The only problem the only thing I'm asking and I'm hoping is that somebody made a mention with the fact that he said he did that strike for the Christians. And I think that might actually also be overeating the polity. That might be overeating the polity. And that might be a big problem. As far as the dropout militant who has made his money during Yaradua and GEJ. Yeah, I know GEJ then. I know he made a lot of money from GEJ. Well, Asari says the fight side by side with the military is the supplier of the unknown government. Wow. So if you're saying that is the supplier of the unknown, are you talking about these guys that are still fighting the IPOP guys in the East? Because I keep asking the question, how come we have an heightened level of insecurity in the East, despite the fact that Nnamdi Kanu has been in custody for a long while? Again, not and I'm the kind of supporter, but I'm just wondering, like, if we want to pin insecurity on him, how come? Yeah, U.S. launched a strike from the Gulf of Guinea to Sokoto. Can Nigeria do their own strike? No, that's a good question. The strike was symbolic. I know, right? It's in the heart of the caliphate. We'll see what happens. Okay. I think I'm caught up for today. I don't know if there's still anything I need to talk about. Yeah, Ebonua is doing his own thing. This video is also telling for those who plan to live abroad. Okay, 50 billion. Fayoshe got 50 billion. Makide got 50 billion. We spoke about that. Okay. Yeah, so that's that about that. US launched a strike. It was symbolic. Yeah, the strike was just symbolic because it was Christmas. That strike will not eliminate terrorism. Yeah, he has his own gang. It can only be in Nigeria. Yeah, we have a lot of people like that. It makes mouth saying that he has his boys in the East fighting. Wow. Let me see. Let me confirm. There's a Sari Dokumbo. As fighters in the Southeast. Because that might actually be plausible to be one of the reasons why there's a lot of problems there. I feel that, the problem in the Southeast, you say it doesn't have an established fighter or permanent militant camp in the South, is a prominent Ijaw leader from the Niger Delta. Now, this is Grok. They may also be mistaken, right? Yeah, thanks a lot for that, Pandas. Sinal Overlord. Yeah, he's a prominent Ijaw leader from the Niger Delta, where his historic militant activities were concentrated, where his activity was concentrated. However, there are persistent allegations. Okay, this is what you're saying. However, there are persistent allegations mainly from IPOB, right groups like Huriwa, and some media opinion pieces that Asari Dokubo has claimed to run a private army and conducted operations in the Southeast, allegedly on behalf of the federal government during the Buhari era to counter IPOB or ESN or unknown government violence. Wow, that's a big problem. Wow, that's a big problem. His men were involved in or contributed to insecurity or killings in the region, sometimes blamed on IPOB. Wow. He has made public statements boasting about deployment, you're right, Chris, or joint operation with Nigerian forces in places like Imo State. This claim stems from viral video interviews where Dokubo himself referenced activities in the Southeast and North. IPOB has repeatedly accused him of recruiting militants to operate there and warned him. I won't be surprised if what you said really happens to him at the end of the day. It's quite crazy. And this is what happens. You would think that these guys are fighting for a just cause, just for them to just become the next Yusufu that has now metamorphosized to what's it called again? Boko Haram, that has now metamorphosized to, these big menace that we are dealing with right now. And it's been hijacked by ISWAP, and then you have the JNIM and all of those, the Ansaru and all of those. Wow. Can we talk about the evolution of VDM? To be honest, I tried to avoid talking about that guy, but, I was thinking about him, about the group. They call themselves Ratel, right? It is an unnoticed significant personality that needs to be explored. He's gaining massive influence than Asari Dokubo. Yeah, I mean, right now I know that. I think I'm just surprised that you see all these Plister group end up becoming something nefarious in the future, especially if you have another politician that comes into power then goes against him. Then because there are groups, right, and they do operations, There's a possibility that money is no longer flowing. Then there's a splinter group. Then you have terrorism. And then you have all of this nonsense. And then it becomes a guerrilla warfare because you don't even know who is who. And then you have a GUMI, Sheikh GUMI, that will be saying that they are our people. This is crazy. Again, VDM, I think VDM, oh God. If I want to talk about him, I don't really know what to really say about him. I don't really follow him that much, but I'm beginning to see, a lot of stuff happening right now that is becoming unsettling. And again, it's going back to this discussion that we're talking about. When Wale Soyinka started, I think the pirate confraternity group, it was literally more like a pressure group. Okay, those days. And they were, like Soyinka had been one person that has been vocal all his life, goes to, does a lot of activism and all of that. And that was, I think that was the beginning. Now you can also correct me if I'm wrong. Then all of a sudden, I think at some point it was hijacked. So instead of you now having, because I don't want to tag it as something like a Asari Dokubo, or even going an OPC level might be actually far, because OPC, they all started to fight for certain things. They were trying to fight insecurity or fight invaders and all of that, or fight for Yoruba cause. Now, this one, like the Soyinka pirate confraternity group and all that, was just basically they discuss about what's happening in the country, they pressure stuffs, they do aluta and all of that. Platonic. No killing of people, nothing. Young guys and all of that. And all of a sudden, they started having splitter group. Then you had the air confraternity. Now, I may not be able to tell you the full story, like, back to back and end to end and all that. But that metamorphosized into major occultic groups in the, at some point. And then they kind of spread across the country. And I went to OAU, and one of the things we do, because we had one of our major comrade that was slaughtered by cultist member because they had a very, very hard stand against occultism at the time. Okay. And then, long story short, occultism is everywhere. But it didn't start as we want to start an occultic group. Now, the VDM group, in a way, I think is more of a, how would I call it, an activism group. Yeah, great effect. Ratel VDM. Yeah, I think it's a kind of an activism group. Yeah, but again, I didn't know I have a lot of great effect in the house. That's cool. But again, it's getting to a point where I think what has happened, okay, online and being a form of a group, is now kind of trying to metamorphosize to be more like a marching army. And I would have felt like is no problem. So they operate like as a cult, not an occult, okay, just a cult, right? And a cult means there's this other guy, is it Kazani or so, that is always against him on Facebook, always bashing VDM, It's going to get to a point where, like as you've rightly said, that there may be splinter groups. And the reason why I'm saying that is this, that most of the people in that group really don't really care about any other thing except what their leaders say. Okay, so if VDM comes out today and say, GTB stole my mom's money, which was a lie, okay, then you see people closing their accounts. EFC was arrested when he was leaving GTB. People started closing their accounts. GTB did not press charges because I guess they just weighed it that, if we press charges against this guy, it's going to be like, unintended consequences. Just like Chris Okafor is getting to know now by pressing charges against Doris Ogala, which I don't even know who advised him to do that. And that's it. So if care is not taken, you're going to have splinter group. If care is not taken, you're going to have maybe like, but then again, I don't think it's going to be of a bigger threat. I think VDM is interested in VDM alone. Okay, because, and the reason why I said that is this: there's been a lot of stuff, a lot of work that he has done that I kind of follow, but I couldn't reach a reasonable conclusion, okay, as to what he's been able to solve. And one of the major one was the Mohbad case. You know, the guy came out and said he was going to solve the Mohbad stuff, but till today, there's been no closure on that case. In fact, when he did all those interviews, then he later came out to say his only Insta blog that can tell us, you know, what would happen. Yeah. Yeah, the cultism stuff in Ife was really, wow, may the soul of our comrades continue to rest in peace. Yeah. I know then Africa and the rest, George Posh, 890015. Wow. That's quite interesting. And again, it's why I don't like VDM that much is because he believes that any cause that is not the head doesn't have to get traction by the society. Yeah. Yeah, again, and I think you also kind of, you know, I don't want to be like, because I try as much as possible, because I don't really like what I do. I just cover events happening, and that's it. You know, and that's it. He's a content creator. I think he's more of a content creator, to be honest with you. And that's why he's not been able to figure out the 300 million that was given to him, I guess, donated to him. I don't think he's been able to figure out what to do with it. He built an office. Now, he might have used his personal money for the office. I don't know. And it might have been the foundation money for the office. I don't know. But I've not really been able to see major projects, you know, like the ones he has promised. People say he has a main character syndrome or something. Anyways, I think he's doing well when it comes to social media content creation, which is good for him. I think he's doing very well with that. And again, one thing I know with respect to content is that there's always a shelf life for a lot of all these things. You can't remain number one forever. Maybe you can, like Elon Musk, you know. So, but again, I think he's doing well for himself with respect to content, and that I will just leave it at that. Hopefully, the people that follow him, you know, at some point, people evolve also. People start thinking for themselves also. But I just don't like that fact that you could have factions. And then the way the supporters go after people that are not necessarily a fan of him is what is really funny to me. And then the plane incidents where he started fighting. So you could see that thing now metamorphosize into actual physical fight, which is not really good. But we'll see what happens. I mean, yeah, people closed their account because the bank and EFCC collaborated to make way for the EFCC to arrest him. Yeah, I don't think the bank has any choice. If EFCC is making a plan on someone and you are actually a nexus, the law expects you to cooperate with the agencies. So again, I won't put that on EFCC. I won't put that on the bank because they are duty bound to obey the law. I know these banks work with all these regulatory agencies and all these other kind of enforcement agencies. VDM is too prideful. Well, there's some level of success you get to that you become proud. Maybe that's why he's proud. Or maybe he's not. Maybe that's just who he is. Personal money for which work? From which work? Oh, when I said he actually built it with his personal money. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's making content. I think he has a lot of engagement. He has good engagement. I don't like the way he also went after Harrison. Now, Harrison may not be a saint. Harrison may be compromised in a way. I don't know. We're still waiting. But I don't like the way he went after Harrison. Don't you not think it's a splinter group from Obi then? Let's trace Sunday Igboho to Obi, to VDM. Yeah, I know most people supporting him. You know, he had an issue with his base, you know. He had an issue with his base. When was that? When he went after B-Lord. And I saw a lot of videos where people were like, it was we guys, that supported you. And really, if you look at his comments, if you look at his videos and all that, you see that a lot of people from business people that are from the Southeast also support him a lot. And they were kind of disgruntled and sad that he could actually do that. Again, that's another clear case, of him not really knowing what he's doing. Like, he said he was going to crash phone markets, he was going to crash car markets, he was going to. At the end of the day, let's just assume that. Let's just say it's content creation. Okay, let's just say it's content creation. And if you say it's content creation, then I think it's fine. I think you can always do anything. I mean, look at Ebonua. Look at Ebonua. It is what it is. It does have a father figure, so it's likely to act based on emotion. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's painful. Again, you can try and fight for people. You can help, you can help people, get out of the situation they are. But I don't believe in this stuff like, I must put you down because I don't like you. I must put you down because I have something against you. Now, the B-Lord case, okay, the B-Lord case was not as a result of the phone. It was not at his phone. They actually had a quarrel, like almost a year. So I've noticed this guy waits for 1 year for you to now bring that case out. This Harrison guy too, I think he's been also suspecting that people were kind of now moving over to Harrison. And then at first I felt like, okay, maybe he was just saying his own truth. But when I now saw him go to the water side, started doing like mimicking Harrison, I felt like that was actually a low. But again, it's VDM, right? It does have a father figure. I don't even know much about his family stuff. I know B-Lord was actually attacking him and his mother. I don't know. He was once an obedient. Oh, then he didn't like how Peter Obi did not push protests in 2023. On what basis? I mean, if you're going to push protests, there must be a bigger basis than just the stole election. And you must be able to also size the crowd. Peter Obi himself, he was not able to put his case well together, unfortunately. And I'm not sure his lawyers did a good job. So again, we'll see. VDM is very unstable. He previously did an April Fool that was very poorly executed. Are you talking about his foundation money that he said it was all hacked into and stolen? Again, all of those stuff. And we're not seeing anything from the foundation. Maybe tomorrow we will. Ebonua is a scammer, big time. But to be honest with you, this guy might have actually gone ahead with one of the biggest scams of 2025. I'm telling you, that Ebonua guy, to me, I just feel he needs to be locked up somewhere. The guy knows what he's doing. He's not a prophet. He's not a pastor. But again, maybe he's just hungry and he felt like, I can actually make this happen. There's even a report that he actually does not own any of those canoe. That is just so it shows, it tweets the camera to be as if it's actually just two canoes there that he's working on. And that is not even the owner of the canoes or the boat or whatever it is. Crash phone market, crash car market, crash Ebonua. Again, the guy was just having fun. And it's just quite unfortunate. B-Lord case is vengeance. VDM is vengeful and as said, it doesn't forgive. Yeah, and that's a problem. Again, I believe that there's an expectation, from you when you're at a certain level of followers. He's bungled a lot of stuff. He also went against Nedu. Nedu of a glitch, I guess. Went after the guy. And I'm like, wow. Went after the guy viciously. Just because the guy interviewed another guy called D1. And D1 was just talking unnecessarily at the interview stuff and all that. And it was just bad. And one thing I've also noticed when he fights, he doesn't care whose ox is God. He doesn't fear who comes into that attack, and it just takes it as collateral damage. You know, and that's quite unfortunate. Not the biggest. Wasn't there one? Oh, blood cases vengeance. Yeah, we've said that. Not the biggest. Wasn't there one Ponzi scheme this year? Is it the CBEX? CBEX. I think CBEX was. Man, Nigerians. Nigerians. My problem is how people are believing him. I'm telling you, it's not hypnotism. It's just people are gullible. And the problem is that these people do vote. They vote in elections. So that's when people come to say, Peter Obi this, Peter Obi that. I just feel like, at times, the way people vote at times is just crazy. VDM also went against his Chinese business partner that spent money. Ross, right? That guy. Yeah. I mean, it goes against everybody. He doesn't care about color. Yeah, he just moves on. Yeah, he just moves on to the next thing. And once he sees that nothing is happening, it tries to stir something up. But again, I mean, he's doing well for himself. Hopefully, we'll see how long that would carry him. But I think it's, I think it's good. Okay, I think let me see. I think I've exhausted most of my bookmarks for today. Let me also see. There's, I think at this point in time, Kenneth Okonkwo, we went through his interview yesterday. They're asking this. Ubara received multiple slaps from Wike and Tinubu and became humble. Oh, this is Kenneth Okonkwo. That guy is always a dramatist. So again, we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, we'll see what happens. 2026, we look at what is being aligned and all that. And that's that. I flew my dad to Dubai where I spent $150,000, and that $150,000 couldn't save my dad. Emmanuel Emeke shared the painful moment and inspired him to build a hospital which now employs 80 workers. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Okay, this season, Davido gave Qatar Ife 20 million. Tony Elmunu gave Charles Okocha. We saw that Charles Okocha stuff, 50 million. Man explains. Then what about there was this also 50K that was given to Very Dark Man also by Burna Boy. People were saying that there's a lot that made it high. Centers are active across 10 local governments in the state. Veteran journalist Babajide explains the reported reason behind US air strike in Sokoto. Saying terrorists are active across 10 local governments in that state. Wow. Okay, Nigeria swallows Lamba, right? VDM is reactionary and dangerous to get close with. Okay. I think he has a very good friend, bestie, called Kokopi. So I don't know if they're still together though. Nigeria swallows Lamba with stew and water. CBEX. Yeah, CBEX, even for the name, right? Even the name alone is enough to actually make you, to actually make you kind of know that this thing is gonna be a fraud. All right, guys. And on this note, okay, we're gonna just want to call it a day. Let me see if there's any other thing I can actually play just in closing. I know there are some things that I just keep and I light. Let me just see if I have anything here left for you guys to play. Hey, okay, yeah, for you. Okay, like this guy. This is the guy I was talking about. Let me play this guy and then I'll just call it a day.
To you concerning this whole issue. You see, that woman and the husband, when they say they kidnapped, nothing happened. I won't tell you what did happen. So yesterday when we Sunday, they did their house, they eat pandem yam. Now pandem yam, now they eat.
Again, I don't know if this what this guy is saying is true. It might just be comedy and all that. I mean, because nobody's talking about the guy that was kidnapped again. Nobody. And that's unfortunate.
They get family meeting, they do everything, their life is going on. That man is no longer in the bush. The man is at home doing whatever he's doing. The kidnapping, arrange kidnapping. I want to explain something to them. Just listen to me now. You see those two guys that went carrying gun, they faced that fake woman and the man.
Again, this is alleged though. This guy is just a comedian, so don't take his words for it. Just
so for inside bush. Now those two boys went to Abuja. Those two boys now they point that two gun. And when Harrison say for the first time when they do this job.
When he said those two boys with the Abuja, you know who he's talking about.
When these guys won't come collect ransom for inside bush, they use masks, they cover their face. Now those two boys when they for Abuja. Those two boys when they for Abuja. Now them use masks, they cover their face because now they arrange the whole thing. You get what I'm saying? So because when we say these guys they get hand for every kidnapping when they happen for Edo State, Delta State, and some other part of Nigeria, I don't understand. So that them arrange that thing, they can set Harrison up. Because Harrison saying wonder, say at night. What he have even when listen to one of the guys when they work with Harrison, when even follow Harrison go that operation. The guy say after they don't pay that money to those people, Harrison the tracker when Harrison gets, as those people don't go with the money, they self don't come out. So Harrison now comes to tell the police now when follow and go that operation. Say look, these guys say where they did so is just 17 minutes away from where they did. They can track these guys and catch them. The police say no. The police say what? No, let's go. You get it? The police said no. It's there. And one of the guys went there with Harrison. He said 17 minutes in a high weakness when they with.
The guy has a picture of himself in the background. Tinubu has made Nigerians jobless. I agree with you.
You get what I'm saying? 17 minutes to track them inside bush. The police say no because while they're all together, then they together because the man they have, the man know they bush. Anybody wants to they talk say nobody is talking about the man again to go and rescue the man. You are a dumb. Your 2026 is going to be so difficult. I'm telling you, for you to eat in 2026, you will have it so difficult to eat because you are a dumb. That man they has the wrong things. You don't live in normal life. Now those two boys when they for Abuja, now them that they work together. Now then. So you got
people get mental problem for NAIJA. What is this guy talking about? It's just crazy. Yeah, Nigeria swallow. Yeah, veteran journalist or TVC talking it. Video is that guy, right? What's his name again? Yeah, that guy. I mean, that guy. Well, he's a veteran according to his colleagues, right? They call him veteran. I think he was planning to sue Rufai Oseni at some point. I don't even know where that case went because Rufai Oseni called him out. Yeah, video is unwilling to share the limelight. I mean, he's actually he tries to share it, but wants to ensure that you make him your lord, right? Someone said something about content creator here, right? Let me see. Maybe this one again. That's a picture. Guy has a picture of himself in the background. That's true, though. I mean, that's crazy. We have come to a time when any terrible person with a camera and no credibility can be considered as a god. Yeah, true. It's quite unfortunate, but again, it's what it is, right? If Ebo Noah had not worn sackcloth, if Ebo Noah has not worn sackcloth, do you think people would have known about him today? If I had not done all those things, now he's going to party, telling people let them party on. That's a prophet, too. It's just quite unfortunate. Yeah. So again, that's that. It's been a slow news day, I would say. Someone was asking about Wike, Fubara, and all that. Yeah, I think we're gonna see what happens in 2027. I think everything leads to Tinubu winning Rivers. Okay, and then Wike and Fubara, there will be a fresh fight. I think there will be a fresh fight. So these guys, so these are the guys that Tinubu plans to tax. Which is all these content creators, they will start calling them in. Oh yeah, you have to give accounts. It's just quite interesting. But that's that about that. At least you can see now the wife of Fubara is now going out for functions again, paying Christmas visits to children at Port Harcourt. At least and Fubara now has gotten his voice back. So we see what happens. We see what happens. And the way the guy will campaign for Tinubu is even saying that he wants to be Tinubu's campaign person. We'll see what happens. I don't know how far the battle or the fight will go. Well, I had a nice time listening. Thank you very much. Three Gbosa. Yes, Gbosa. Great Ife. Another Great Ife is a counterfeit. That's our school anthem. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I really appreciate joining. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the comment. It was really, I came in to just spend some time, and I think thanks for the contribution. We really had a good time. I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully, I might come in tomorrow. I'm looking for a time that is constant so that at least I can be keeping to that time and also keep myself in check. And we'll see what happens. One love from George Adeleke. Great if you're here to Black Conservative. Wow. Okay. That's nice. Good to know. I really appreciate everyone for joining. Thanks and have a good Sunday and a restful Sunday.